The first thing the boy did after returning home from school was to figure out a way to survive his own father, because his father was a violent man who couldn't control his temper. When he found out I was a Green Awakener, he not only punched and kicked me, but also beat my already frail mother into severe paralysis. Living a second life, I will absolutely not allow this tragedy to repeat itself. I will protect Mom, even if it costs me my life. It turns out this is a world where magic and demons coexist. Everyone can awaken different professions through the 5 major elements. In my past life, the God's Corps I led was the strongest team of awakeners in the world. The members were the electric assassin He Lu, the cloud mage Han Xiaolin, the star conductor Lucian, and myself, the nuclear saint swordsman. There was also a traitor I would remember to my bones. Today marked the 10th year I had led the team. This mission was to eliminate the SSS-Rank demon King Belphegor. It was already the 100th high-level demon we had faced. This mission was designated as an L-Class Purge mission. Although L-Class is the highest level of difficulty, we will be able to take a long vacation after completing it. With perfect coordination, I finally slew Belphegor with a single move, 10 directions annihilation. However, my teammates were still left wanting more. They didn't expect this demon cave to be so easy. Lucian immediately reminded everyone to stay alert. We were sent out as a full team for this mission. Clearing the demon so simply definitely wasn't right. I naturally agreed with Lucian. Intelligence stated that this was a very special demon king. Not only did he possess 5 elements, but he also had hidden skills. At this moment, a pair of fair hands hugged me from behind. Gillo asked me if I planned to treat everyone to a big meal for this vacation or ask her out alone. Hearing this, I quickly pushed her away and decided we should all go to the old place in the holy capital to gather. Then I turned and asked my teammates if that guy hadn't caught up yet. Lucian explained that he was cleaning up the mess in the back. He hadn't acted when we fought Belphegor just now, but everyone was used to it. That guy was always dawdling. He was the biggest slacker usually. But just then, Han Xiaolin's head was suddenly pierced through. He died on the spot without even letting out a scream. This sudden situation caught everyone present off guard. Just as I was about to turn around, I found that my body couldn't move. Immediately after, that familiar voice rang in my ear. For the past month, I've been mixing paralyzing powder into breakfast. As the voice fell, the divine skill flower, taboo vine activated. We were instantly bound tight by vines. The dreadlocked man who claimed to be cleaning up the mess finally appeared. T.O. kill the strongest of you. I couldn't do it without complete preparation. This is God's will. The L-Class Purge mission is to purge you. Bound, we lost all defenses, like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. At this moment, the vine stabbed towards He Lu and the other with extreme speed. But as the captain, I could only watch helplessly. Watch as their chests were pierced by the vines. I angrily questioned the dreadlocked man why he wanted to purge us. The God's Corps had never done anything out of line. Which Godville was this? And what right do you have to do this to us? Hearing this, the dreadlocked man couldn't help but sneer, mocking me for still being so naive. Does God need a reason to want you dead? As the voice fell, he charged at extreme speed. My chest was instantly pierced by his arm. Before dying, my eyes were full of confusion. But aren't we comrades? We've been together for over 10 years. Aren't we like family already? Hearing this, a sinister smile appeared on the dreadlocked man's lips. Comrades, do you still not understand why I am the one doing this? From the day we first met, God was already setting up this board. You have always been pawns to be manipulated. To gain your trust, I've been acting with you for so long. I find it disgusting too. As the voice fell, a gunshot rang out inside the demon cave. Except for the dreadlocked man, the entire God's Corps was dead. I was so unwilling. If I had discovered it sooner, I could have changed this tragic ending. At this moment, a voice sounded in my mind. Let's make a deal. As the voice fell, I was in darkness, my body wrapped in chains. Immediately after, a man in a suit appeared in front of me. Seeing the 5 major elements surrounding him, I recognized him as Belphegor. But why wasn't he dead? Belphegor laughed and explained, how could an SSS-Rank demon king be so weak? This is my soul space. The entire Nei kingdom is my true life. Ikansen Saitalia. You, like me, are full of hate right now. So I want to make a deal with you. My hidden skill is called life regression. It can send you back to the distant past, giving you a chance to redeem and change everything. So Bai, do you want to start over? I recalled the bits and pieces of the last 10 years with my partners. How could I not want to see their smiles again? The culprit of all this was that traitor. It was his betrayal that led to our deaths one by one. I told Belphegor I wanted to start over. I wanted to kill that traitor with my own hands, and those high and mighty gods. This answer satisfied Belphegor greatly. He immediately took out a burning heart from his chest, surrounded by the 5 elements, stating this was a meeting gift for me. I didn't accept it immediately. I asked him why he wanted to trade with me, and what the price was. Belphegor didn't answer, only revealing a meaningful smile. When I opened my eyes again, I actually saw my junior high homeroom teacher, Ms. Huang. By stand up for this old lady. It's one thing to fool around during class usually, but you dare to sleep when we're about to change professions this afternoon? Get to the back and stand there. Looking at my tender hands, my eyes were full of shock. I couldn't believe I had actually returned to my junior high school days. Belphegor's ability was truly incredible. He actually sent me back to the past. While I was lamenting, Ms. Huang slammed the podium, telling everyone to perk up. There are a total of 5 elemental powers in this world. They are electric, cloud, star, nuclear, and dark. And each person can only contain one element. Like me, what I possess is the rarest cloud element. Then, based on how the elemental power combines with each person's body, it can be divided into 3 categories. Combat type, because the 5 elemental powers combine with different positionings, many different professions are born. I know that to stand out from billions of people as a potentialist with the power of awakening, you are already far superior to others, surrounded by flowers and applause since childhood. But today is your most important day. There are nearly 100 known awakened professions. Professions are divided into green, blue, gold, and red qualities from low to high, and everyone only has one chance to awaken a profession. Therefore, the moment your profession is determined this afternoon, it will decide your future status in the world. After class, I walked around the campus looking around. Suddenly, my friend Glasses fell beside me, and the person who pushed him down was the school bully. Hong Qiangxing, that a bunch of trash relying on external forces to awaken. Yet you dare stand in front of me? Think you're amazing just because you're about to awaken? In front of a red quality profession awakener like me, you will always just be little brothers. Under this pressure, Glasses hurriedly took out his pocket money, begging Hong Qiangxing to let him go. I remembered that in my previous life, Hong Qiangxing often got into conflicts with classmates. He seemed to have some super aggressive genes, liking to make trouble out of nothing. At this time, Ms. Huang walked over, sternly warning Hong Qiangxing that this was a school. Are you trying to ignore school rules? Hong Qiangxing looked disdainful, claiming Glasses bumped into him and hurt him. Isn't it only right to compensate my brothers with a cup of milk tea each? Then he leaned into Ms. Huang's ear and whispered, "Want to stand up for a student? If not for your looks, I'd have made you get out of this school long ago." Hearing this, Ms. Huang ignored it, walked up to help Glasses, and asked if he was hurt anywhere. I had a deep impression of Ms. Huang. She had a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. She helped me a lot after I awakened back then. At this moment, the teacher from the next class waved over, reminding us it was our class's turn to enter the awakening room. Ms. Huang immediately gathered the students and reminded them to maintain rationality during awakening to avoid injury. I remember there are 2 types of awakening in this world. One is natural awakening like Hong Qiangxing, which usually happens to people with strong physical fitness and talent. They awaken autonomously during a moment of extremely high emotion. The other is through the awakening space room. After entering the space, a person's emotions and adrenaline are catalyzed sharply, thereby facilitating the awakening of potentialists. But because everyone can only awaken once, and it's random, awakening in job change is also seen as the only chance in life to reboot one's destiny. When it was my turn to walk into the awakening room, Ms. Huang sternly reminded me to focus. I nodded slightly, saying straightforwardly that I knew what I was doing. In my last life, I awakened as an E-rank nuclear warrior, a mediocre green quality profession. Because of this, I was bullied a lot. Later, when I advanced to S-rank, I awakened a rarest type. Now, I should still have a nuclear element inside me. I just don't know what profession I'll awaken this time. Unexpectedly, a mechanical sound suddenly came from my ear. Awakening system detection error. Detected 5 elements. Infinite awakening system activated. Because your body possesses 5 elemental systems, the initial profession can be chosen. Open any profession of any element. Thereafter, when a certain element accumulates enough, you can choose to obtain a new random profession of that element or upgrade the existing profession. Listening to the system introduction, I was dumbfounded. Not only can I choose the element and profession I awaken now, but I can also obtain other new professions later. I have a chance to obtain professions of all qualities. I can even possess that special quality profession. The system immediately explained, only the initial profession can be chosen by yourself. Subsequent professions will be obtained randomly. At this moment, I recalled the heart Belphegor gave me. I didn't expect this meeting gift to be so precious. It gave me the ability of infinite awakening. At this time, the system prompted that after choosing the initial profession, all element bars would be cleared. A faint smile appeared on the corner of my mouth. I had already made a choice in my heart. When I slowly walked out of the awakening room, Ms. Huang hurriedly ran over to ask what profession I awakened. I sighed helplessly. Sorry to disappoint you. I awakened as a nuclear warrior, the worst green quality. Hearing this, Ms. Huang's expression instantly became gloomy. But she still encouraged me not to give up. Even with green quality, many extraordinary talents have been born. But I didn't need her comfort at all. I couldn't even imagine how strong the future me would be. At this time, Hong Xiangxing walked over and mocked loudly. I remember you being quite capable, Ms. Huang. How could you spout such useless, toxic chicken soup? Green quality means you're the bottom layer. That's how this world is. God chooses people, you know. He only chooses the strong. The weak only get to be humiliated. As soon as these words came out, killing intent instantly surged in my eyes. My death in the previous life was inextricably linked to those gods. At this time, Hong Xiangxing spoke to Ms. Huang again. You surely know, right? Green professions can only sit in the back row to listen to class from now on. Society is like this. Those without strength, background, or future will always be in the back row, abandoned by fairness. The strong can obtain better resources. They will become stronger and stronger. Green weaklings are doomed from the moment of awakening to only be laborers for awakeners. Changing life through hard work. A green quality becoming a genius? Do you believe that crap yourself? Just like everyone's birth, your future life was decided long ago. Our Awakener School is just a microcosm. I remember you are a blue profession, Ms. Huang. Just stay in school honestly and be a waste eating public rice. And you, kid, since you're green quality, go home early. Don't waste resources. As the voice fell, I casually crushed the cup, splashing the drink all over his face. Make this bastard shut his mouth. His breath is too stinky. Hearing this, Hong Xiangxing smirked evilly. Then he gathered full strength and swung a star spike hammer at me. The next second, I condensed a long sword in my hand and blocked it easily. Immediately after, I activated the warrior skill Gawu. Hong Xiangxing flew out instantly like a kite with a broken string. A mouthful of blood sprayed from his mouth. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect me to be able to send a red quality profession flying. The unconvinced Hong Xiangxing immediately stood up, stating bluntly that I was just lucky to dodge his attack. But Ms. Huang, who witnessed the whole process, could confirm that it was definitely not luck just now. She saw that I used the top-tier movement technique unique to the warrior profession, Gawu, blocking the damage at the instant of maximum attack, and within 0.09 seconds, exceeding the reaction limit, reflecting the physical damage back to the opponent. This is a move that can't be learned even after 10 years of hard practice. Thinking of this, Ms. Huang's expression became even more shocked. How exactly did a student with absolutely no combat experience on the first day of awakening do it? At this moment, Hong Xiangxing summoned a bayonet, determined to beat me until I doubted life, then make me crawl out of school. But he was completely unaware that I was prepared, which was why I chose this seemingly weakest profession. Judging a person's future and life or death from birth is a grave error they only realized many years later. Choosing nuclear warrior is because after this profession advances, it will obtain a unique quality and extremely strong skill surpassing other professions. Seeing the atmosphere on the scene becoming heavier and heavier, the onlookers were worried for me. Because in school, using awakened power for private fights is strictly prohibited. And Hong Xiangxing's dad is a high official, and his uncle is the school director. On the other hand, my family is penniless and has no background. If I take this bait and fight here, I could be expelled from school. Seeing this, Ms. Huang hurriedly advised us not to be impulsive. Maybe everyone will be partners fighting together in the future. Hong Qiangxing immediately refused angrily. This guy provoked me wantonly just now. You tell me to stop now? Even if he kneels down and begs for mercy now, it's useless. I want him to know the insurmountable gap between the chosen ones and losers. Hearing this, Ms. Huang thought it was bad. The reason why qualities differ so much lies in the different attribute bonuses. The attribute bonus for green quality is 100, which is unchanged. The bonus for the same profession in blue quality is 150. And red quality is an astonishing 200. The moment of awakening, a red profession stats are twice that of green stats. This gap in strength is something that can never be surmounted. My friend Glasses also thought I was done for. Whether in reality strength or background strength, I was crushed by the opponent in all aspects. Why offend someone stronger than yourself? Such trash people are indeed hateful. But to survive in such a world, you must learn to avoid trash. When you can't avoid it, you must learn to swallow the humiliation. Being able to bend and stretch allows longevity. Direct conflict is just the stupidest choice. Only greater humiliation awaits you. At this moment, Hong Qiangxing activated the skill storm and attacked me. But I didn't panic at all and remained standing in place, because I never thought about dodging. The skill speed activated instantly, increasing speed by over 50 in the short term. My figure was as fast as lightning, instantly appearing behind him. Hong Qiangxing didn't understand how I did it. Immediately after, he spat out a large amount of blood from his mouth. Finally, exhausted, he knelt on the ground, coughing frantically. This battle really ended too quickly. Even Ms. Huang didn't see clearly what had happened. But the class monitor, Qi Yin, revealed an intriguing expression. She saw that the moment Hong Qiangxing attacked, I once again activated the unique warrior skill speed, and it was the high-level form of the speed skill, Flash. But she also couldn't see clearly how I easily defeated the opponent in that instant. But she could be certain that not only had I mastered the highest usage of basic warrior skills, but I could also apply them thoroughly in actual combat. Even in that instant just now, I considered not violating the school ban in public. At this time, the system prompted, obtained 50 profession experience points. Due to heavily injuring an E-rank star element opponent, obtained 50 star element points. This was exactly as I guessed. Using the profession to fight can accumulate profession experience. Defeating an opponent of a certain element can also gain element points. But 50 points is too little. I need to clear some demon caves as soon as possible. I must upgrade and advance faster than before. At this moment, Hong Qiangxing stood up tremblingly. He picked up the bayonet and was about to sneak attack me from behind. But the next second, he was stopped by a deep voice. The person stopping him was none other than the junior high director, Hong Liang. He told the onlookers to stop watching the show, go home, and rest early. Report your awakened profession to your families properly. The word home instantly struck me like lightning. I didn't even notice Hong Liang had walked in front of me, because I suddenly recalled an extremely important matter. Since I returned to 20 years ago, they're all still alive. One more thing happened on Awakening Day. Something I haven't been able to let go of to this day. Thinking of this, I left the school at maximum speed. Seeing he was ignored, Hong Liang was furious. He turned and scolded Ms. Huang to control her student. Treat today as if nothing happened. A moment later, Hong Liang brought his nephew to the office. Hong Qiangxing's eyes were full of defiance. If not for that kid getting lucky, I could never have lost to him. Just as he finished speaking, Hong Liang suddenly slammed the table, telling him to shut up. Oh, you know what that kid opposite you did? The instant you rushed in front of him, he used the high-level skill Flash. But more importantly, before he flashed, in just that instant before you made contact, he found the weakest point on your entire body and struck it hard, causing your defense to break completely. This set of moves all used basic warrior skills. But even I, who have been bathed in blood on the battlefield for 15 years, might not be able to use them so proficiently. Your battle was as ridiculous as a pro player using basic operations to toy with a max-level elementary schooler. That kid isn't as simple as you think. Meanwhile, I was running home at full speed. If there is anything I must do after being reborn besides revenge, it is to prevent the tragedy that is about to happen before my eyes. Even if I have to risk my life, I must stop it. After arriving home, I saw Mom preparing dinner. Seeing Mom again after 20 years, tears couldn't stop swirling in my eyes. My heart lamented that it was so good that Mom was still alive. Seeing me return, Mom kept gesturing with her hands in front of me. Because Mom couldn't speak, she told me through sign language that she made my favorite hot and sour noodles today. I held back tears and smiled, saying I wanted to eat pickled fish today. Mom gestured, indicating we'd eat it tomorrow. She made a lot of delicious food today. I immediately shook my head, claiming I especially wanted to eat fish today. I asked Mom to go buy it now. She couldn't win against me, so she signed that she would go right now. But just as I planned to go out with her, Father, who was sitting in the living room watching TV, suddenly spoke that it's enough for your mom to go alone. By the way, what's with you, kid? You didn't even say hello to Dad when you came back. Wasn't today Awakening Day? Hurry up and tell me your good news. Saying that, Father took 2 bottles of beer from the fridge, saying he finished work early and came home just to celebrate with me. Regarding this, there was no smile on my face. I lied, claiming I hadn't awakened yet today, because the awakening time took too long. It ended before it was my turn. Hearing this, Father's expression suddenly became gloomy. He questioned why I came back so early then. He had nothing back then and still awakened a red profession. Then his son should be at least a red profession. He worked so hard to make money for my schooling now, putting all his effort into me. He sternly questioned what profession I exactly was. In an instant, a terrifying killing intent enveloped me. But I still said I hadn't awakened yet. The next second, a beer bottle smashed heavily onto my head. Father's eyes abruptly became extremely vicious. You actually awakened a trash green class? What were you pretending to be serious for in school all day? Just to awaken a trash green profession for me? Are you trying to make me lose all face? Saying that, he kicked directly at my face. This situation was within my expectations. In my previous life, after he found out I was a Green Awakener, because he felt ashamed, he started beating me at home. To protect me, Mom stood in front of me like usual. But I was too weak and scared back then. This bastard beat Mom for a full hour to vent his anger. That day, Mom's leg was broken, and because of severe blows to the head, she became mentally trance-like from then on. I hated my own weakness, hated that I didn't have the ability to protect Mom. Living a second life, I cannot let the tragedy repeat. Although the nuclear warrior possesses a unique specialness other professions don't have, it still needs some time. Currently, I am just a freshly awakened lowest E rank, and by Lingsheng is a C rank red profession. He is completely different from Hong Qianxing at school. He has had sufficient actual combat experience. Even if I were a gold profession now, I couldn't defeat him. He was waiting for me at home early today. He won't stop until he gets a result. So I absolutely must not let Mom stay here. So I sent Mom away to buy groceries. But unexpectedly, the sound of bags dropping came from the doorway. Mom had actually returned home already. My eyes were filled with shock. I couldn't figure out how she came back so quickly. It turned out Mom was worried I would be hungry, so she rushed home right after buying groceries. But she never expected to see a scene like this upon her return. Seeing Mom return, Bai Lingsheng immediately pointed the finger at her. Come look at what kind of waste you gave birth to. At this moment, memories of my past life flooded my mind that I heard you were the first green class advancer. Generally speaking, a profession must be at least blue and reach A rank to possibly enter the advancement stage. Why did you advance so early and directly turn from green to the 1 in a million platinum rank? Having said that, Master asked me why I was arrested. This is a place where only death row inmates come. I said in a low voice that the bastard deserves to die. How could he beat my mother to death like that? Thinking of this, my eyes suddenly became incredibly firm. I gathered all my strength and swung a heavy fist at Bai Lingsheng. But in the face of absolute power, my attack had no power at all. Because skilled awakeners are much stronger than ordinary people, even without using skills. Ordinary people can't withstand such a fist at all. But now I must stand up and protect Mom. Unexpectedly, Mom suddenly blocked me, shaking her head constantly, hoping Bai Lingsheng would stop. Seeing this, Bai Lingsheng sighed and closed the door. Rune, the day I knew you were pregnant with a son, I was really happy. I thought the chance for our family to turn things around had finally come. Those 2 bastards couldn't produce a son, but I, Bai Lingsheng, could. The Bai family can only rely on me to bring honor to our ancestors. But why? Why did he awaken the trashiest green class? A waste that can't even advance. It's all because of your trash genes. Seeing that Mom was about to be hit by the bench, in my desperation, I immediately activated the skill, Flash. I summoned my longsword and forced Bai Lingxing back, sternly warning this bastard not to get close to Mom. Bai Lingxing looked at his torn clothes and sneered. The aura he emitted became increasingly terrifying. He didn't expect there would be a day when I dared to fight back. I gripped the longsword tightly, maintaining focus. I had to think of a way to hold on until help arrived. Just then, Bai Lingxing charged at me with extreme speed. Seeing this, I hurriedly activated the skill, Parry, intending to reflect the full damage back. Unexpectedly, the longsword in my hand suddenly shattered. A solid punch smashed into my abdomen. The gap in attributes was just too wide. Just one strike completely broke my defense. But Bai Lingxing's attack didn't stop there. He even used the skill Thunderbolt Black Lightning, imbuing all his attacks with an electric shock effect. I hurriedly guarded my head with my hands to avoid nerve damage and losing consciousness. In an instant, heavy punches poured down on me like a rainstorm. Bai Lingxing found it laughable seeing me still struggling to hold on. Such a weak class deserves to be humiliated by the strong. He casually picked up the bench beside him. Gathering all his strength, he was about to smash it down on Mom and me. Just then, a sudden rush of knocking came from outside the door. Seeing this, the corners of my mouth raised slightly. Help had finally arrived. Bai Lingxing, in a fit of rage, opened the door with a face full of displeasure. Standing at the door were two members of the guard team. Vice Captain Liang looked serious, questioning what we were busy with that we didn't open the door for so long. The arrival of the inspector team left Bai Lingxing completely confused. He asked the vice captain in a gentle tone why they were here. It turned out that 18 minutes ago, before going upstairs, I called the guard team, saying the fugitive Snow was suspected of entering my residential district. They would definitely dispatch a team to investigate. I could use this opportunity to send Bai Lingxing to jail. At this moment, Li Ong took out a wanted poster that we received a report. The fugitive Snow appeared near this building. We are now conducting a search. Have you noticed anyone strange? Hearing this, Bai Lingxing laughed awkwardly and said he hadn't seen anyone. But Liang noticed Mom and me behind him. What happened to your child? Why is he covered in injuries? Hearing this, Bai Lingxing lied, claiming I accidentally fell. I immediately explained that the injuries on my body were caused by him beating me. My arm was smashed by a bench. My head was smashed by a wine bottle. Here was punches. Here was kicks. The injuries on my body can be appraised right now. Regarding awakeners who cannot control their violent behavior and wantonly hurt others, in the Divine Code, Awakener Management Regulations, Chapter 8, Article 4, it clearly states, if the perpetrator poses a potential danger, they must be immediately detained and held in the Awakener prison for 15 days. These words shocked the two guard team members immensely. They didn't expect someone my age to know the law so well. Bai Lingxing never expected I would dare to expose him. Burning with rage, he wanted to kill me right there. Chen Jinwu hurriedly held him back. Liang immediately announced, we are now arresting him according to the law. If you dare to resist, we will take control measures. After Bai Lingxing was taken away, the house instantly became incredibly quiet. Then Mom rushed over and hugged me tightly, her sobbing echoing in my ears. I rejoiced that I protected Mom this time. 15 days is enough time for me to get stronger. I will absolutely never let Mom be bullied again. And I didn't take that beating for nothing. At that time, I swiped the safe key from him. That item he didn't hesitate to backstab his teammates to grab back then. It allowed him to climb from the bottom of E-rank step by step to his current C rank. Subsequently, I went to his room. After moving the bedside table, I saw a safe. He had kept this a secret from the family. In my past life, I only learned of its existence after he died. With this sharp blade, I could try to solo the demon cave. Meanwhile, at the inspector team detention room, Bai Lingxing begged Liang to be lenient, guaranteeing he would absolutely never cause trouble again. But Liang couldn't be bothered to deal with such scum. Bai Lingxing continued to smile ingratiatingly. I heard, Vice Captain, that your wife is about to give birth. My good buddy opened the best postpartum care center in Chusher County. Before he could finish, Liang sternly warned him that he was bribing the inspector team. If discovered, it wouldn't be as simple as just detention. You'd better rest early and report to the Awakener prison tomorrow. Seeing this, Bai Lingxing flew into a rage, vowing to skin me alive and swallow me whole once he got out. Before that, I must get stronger as fast as possible. Therefore, the demon cave is my only choice right now. But now all demon caves are under the jurisdiction of the gods. People not in a guild cannot enter. The only demon caves I can access are those managed by the school, and the hidden demon caves I knew from my past life. A demon cave can be born anywhere. It is another space parallel to our world, entered through a gate born out of thin air. After most demon caves are detected, they will be garrisoned by guilds. Because demon caves contain a large number of demonic beasts and magic or resources, it's the best choice for awakeners to improve their abilities. But demon caves are very dangerous. Usually, one must team up to enter after official inspection. In my past life, the news 5 years later reported this demon cave. Because it was left alone for too long and hadn't been detected, it wasn't discovered until the incident of demons invading the human world occurred. Generally speaking, an F-rank demon cave requires 3 E-rank awakeners, and an E-rank one requires a 5-person squad of 3 E-rank and 2 D-rank awakeners. Based on the current time calculation, there is a 90% probability that this demon cave is F-rank. This is also the lowest level hidden demon cave I can currently access. Although the demon cave is full of dangers and requires professions of various elements to team up to increase the odds of winning, I have no other choice now. I must get stronger alone as fast as possible. After entering the demon cave, a whole world of ice and snow came into view. It's likely the domain of cloud-type demonic beasts. Not far away, a massive white bear was sleeping soundly. Around it, there were quite a few human skeletons. It's not hard to see that people had been here, but couldn't get out. I recognized this white bear as the E8 level demonic beast, Icefield Bear. Then the level of this hidden demon cave is E-rank. Suddenly, a blurred shadow swept past behind me. Immediately after, an E2 level bloodthirsty forest wolf pounced at me. Fortunately, my reactions were sharp. I leaped up and easily dodged it. Then, exerting strength in my legs, I launched a counterattack. With just one slash, I cut the bloodthirsty forest wolf in half. This Kunlun blade is indeed an E-rank weapon. Moreover, it can't be bought on the market. The attributes it provides perfectly fill the gap in my current combat power. But if I encounter demonic beasts with high defense, even if I aim for the vitals, it will take 3 or 4 cuts to finish them. I can't help but start missing the days when I was L-rank. An E-rank profession takes about 20 wolf kills to level up once, and from E to D requires raising 10 levels. Just then, dozens of bloodthirsty forest wolves walked towards me. Mixed among them was an E4 level bloodthirsty wolf king. The smell of blood must have attracted them all. I could see they wanted to strangle me through a siege, so I immediately leaped up. I took the initiative to attack the weakest point of the wolf pack. Although these low-level, bloodthirsty forest wolves didn't affect me much, because there were too many, I had to clear them as fast as possible, and I had to ensure every swing of the blade hit a vital point. Relying on the combat experience accumulated in my past life and a super high proficiency of basic warrior skills, in just a moment, I wiped out the low-level, bloodthirsty forest wolves. Now the only thing left to deal with is the Wolf King in front of me. I immediately exploded with full power and charged at it. Countless blade lights lit up around its body. The notification sound of successful kill instantly rang in my ears. I also obtained the Material Snow Wolf Drill. My level successfully reached E2. Obtained 12 points of stats to distribute freely. I closed the prompt box, panting heavily. I didn't expect to be this tired after killing just 20 wolves. E-rank stamina is still too poor. I need to find a way to get a dimensional bag, otherwise I'll have to leave behind a lot of dropped items. And most demon caves are monopolized by guilds, so it's very hard for awakeners outside of a team to level up. To get the chance to access high-level demon caves, joining God's Guild is the only choice. The Awakener School is under the Guild's banner, used to screen talent for the team. The ideal of most students is to become an outstanding graduate and be selected by the Guild. But being kicked out of the team means one might never improve again in their lifetime. That bastard by Lingxing stayed at C rank forever because he was kicked out of the Guild. In comparison, my improvement speed isn't fast either. Because the temperature here is too low, the longer I stay, the greater the physical consumption. Then I can only solve it using the fastest method. Thinking of this, I turned and ran. Along the way, I constantly cut down big trees with my blade. The noise produced attracted the attention of countless demonic beasts. A moment later, I was completely surrounded by various demonic beasts. Immediately after, a violent explosion suddenly came from the cliff wall on the side. Seeing this, I nodded slightly. The commotion just now had woken up all the monsters. That guy should be awake too. Just then, a giant claw slammed down, crushing a bloodthirsty forest wolf. The arrival was exactly the awakened icefield bear. Its massive size gave a huge visual impact. In a state of rage, the icefield bear will attack indiscriminately. And what I had to do was dodge while picking up scraps. System notification sounds constantly echoed in my ears. Although E-rank beasts are fierce, they basically have no brains. This bear not only helped me attract firepower, but also saved me more than half my stamina. But for the experience to fall to me, I still must perform the final strike. But even with the icefield bear's help, my stamina was still faltering. The number of demonic beasts present was still too high. Then it's time to enter the next phase. At this moment, demonic beasts rushed at me madly like a tidal wave. Completely unaware that countless ice spikes were buried beneath their feet, I immediately stabbed my blade heavily into the ground. The ground instantly shattered and began to collapse. While fighting, I had been observing the surrounding environment. This wasn't a frozen lake surface, but an ice bridge spanning between two canyons. In an instant, most of the demonic beasts fell into the bottomless abyss. My level instantly reached level 7, and I obtained the title 1 against 100. When enemies are plural objects, all stats increase by 10. The remaining stamina is enough to deal with the leftover demonic beasts. But I've been thinking about a question since just now. Every demon cave has a leader. An E-rank demon cave lord should be something like an E10 brutal lion king. The commotion just now should have woken it up. Why hasn't it appeared yet? Just then, terrifying ice-type magic suddenly surged over. Seeing this, I suddenly felt something was wrong. I had actually fallen into a trap. That lord wasn't asleep. It was waiting for an opportunity, waiting for our stamina to be almost depleted, to come to this place and reap the benefits without effort. This ice bridge was also a trap it forged. I fought desperately to escape the range of the spell, but due to terrain issues, I was quickly frozen. I never expected that in this low-level demon cave, there was actually an intelligent leader hiding. Level 10, Cloud-type magic boss, Lord of the Pale Forest, suddenly appeared. Beside it were 2 E10 level Pale Forest demon monkeys as lieutenants. My brain worked at high speed. How exactly could I break this deadlock? My entire body was frozen. Soon I would completely lose body heat and die. At this moment, the Lord of the Pale Forest slowly raised a hand and pointed. The Pale Forest demon monkeys instantly launched an attack at me. Just in this nick of time, I suddenly broke free from the ice seal and used the skill parry to reflect all the damage back. It turned out that in that instant, I mobilized all my energy to shatter the ice. But this also caused me to consume a massive amount of stamina. If the Lord of the Pale Forest wants to launch a powerful magic attack again, it will definitely take some time. Then I must kill it before that. But just then, the Lord of the Pale Forest suddenly raised its left hand high. As it clenched its hand forcefully, the originally enraged icefield bear instantly calmed down. Its fierce gaze stared dead at me. I suddenly felt something was wrong. The nuclear type is naturally restrained by the cloud type. Plus, with my current stamina, winning against those 2 monkeys would be tough enough. I absolutely cannot handle such a large number of demonic beasts. At this moment, a pale forest demon monkey flashed over to attack me. Just blocking the attack, I clearly felt my stamina failing. In this desperate situation, let alone finding a chance to kill the leader, I couldn't even guarantee basic survival. At this time, the Lord of the Pale Forest raised its staff with a sinister smile. The skill Ice Storm Raid activated instantly, sweeping towards me. Seeing this situation, I was dumbfounded. I didn't understand why its skill cooldown was so fast. But soon I calmed down again. In the life experiences of my past life, I also often faced various predicaments. Unde predicament nafte predicament. I trained a kind of sensitivity to opportunities. Currently, I only have 2 choices. Choice 1 is to stay here and continue fighting. But my stamina is already at its limit. Survival rate is 0. Therefore, only choice 2 can break the current deadlock. Thinking of this, I jumped off the cliff without hesitation. This move left the Lord of the Pale Forest dumbfounded. It didn't expect I would choose to jump off a cliff to my death. Meanwhile, Mom walked into the room intending to wake me up for breakfast. But she discovered no one in bed, only a note left behind. I told Mom I went to a friend's house to play and would come home later. But Mom spotted something wrong at a glance. If I went to a friend's house to play, I would definitely tell her. And starting from when I got home yesterday, she found that I seemed to have become a completely different person. It gave her an uneasy feeling in her heart. On the other side, having jumped off the cliff, I swam to the riverbank with difficulty. When the ice bridge broke earlier, clearly close to 100 demonic beasts fell. But I only leveled up 3 times then. This means 40 demonic beasts survived. Therefore, there must be a river at the bottom of the cliff. So choice 2 was my only chance at life. But shattering the ice again almost exhausted all my stamina. Plus, falling into the river from such a height caused too much damage to my body. I was almost at my limit. The scene before my eyes gradually became blurry. What's worse was, I hadn't completely escaped danger. An E9 level ice glacier overlord was actually lurking at the bottom of the cliff. A revolving lantern of memories constantly flashed in my mind. Those were the bits and pieces of time spent with teammates in my past life, and scenes of Mom's usual meticulous care for me. Having them accompany me in this life, I could die with no regrets. But recalling that smug smile of the Lord of the Pale Forest, Bai Lingxing's disdainful look, and that traitor's sinister, smiling face, I won't allow my journey to end just like this. Any regrets that happened in the past life, I absolutely won't let them repeat. I lost everything once, and I've already died once, so I absolutely won't die again. Thinking of this, I used brute force to snap the ice glacier overlord's tooth. Immediately after, a whip kick sent it flying. At this moment, my whole body emitted wisps of golden smoke. This is exactly the sign of profession advancement that can only be triggered in desperate situations. Choosing to solo the demon cave, actively attracting demonic beasts, jumping off the cliff, putting myself constantly into desperate situations was all to find that feeling again. In my past life, when I personally killed Bai Lingxing, the adrenaline in my body soared wildly, triggering the advancement. And now I did it to find that feeling from back then. The system notification sound echoed in my ears. Due to insufficient conditions, profession advancement failed. Acquired nuclear-type high-level skill, Saint Sword Earth. Seeing this, my eyes flickered. Although it wasn't enough to achieve profession advancement, I actually obtained this ultimate skill in advance. Then it's time to clear the obstacles in front of me. Just then, the ice glacier overlord roared and pounced at me. Behind it, demonic beasts surged like a tsunami. I steadied my stance and violently swung the sharp blade in my hand. The formed chi blade instantly insta-killed the incoming demonic beasts. Even the E10 level Ice Glacier Overlord was cut in half at the waist. And this move was exactly the ultimate skill, Pure Land. Fatigue cleared, stamina instantly recovered. My level instantly reached E8, and I obtained the title Icefield Wanderer. Resistance to cloud-type creatures plus 100. Freeze damage reduction. Now it's time to go back and deal with the Lord of the Pale Forest. On the way, I constantly killed bloodthirsty forest wolves to gain experience. Level reached E9. I can clearly feel that hacking down E-rank demonic beasts has become extremely easy, and now I can barely feel the cold. Pure Land can store all the damage accumulated by myself previously, and release it all at once against a group, but can only be activated after accumulating enough fatigue and damage. Thanks to it, my stamina has also completely recovered now. I don't know how long I've stayed in this demon cave. I must hurry back. Otherwise, Mom will be worried. Meanwhile, the Lord of the Pale Forest was resting inside the hut, waiting for new challengers to come to the door. Hanging on both sides were the E10 level Pale Forest demon monkeys. At this moment, the Lord of the Pale Forest opened its eyes, sensing a familiar aura. The next second, a big hole was suddenly blasted in the roof. Immediately after, the corpse of the Icefield bear fell into the room. I looked at the Lord of the Pale Forest with disdain. I'm going to kill it with the fastest speed and go home for dinner. Seeing this, the Lord of the Pale Forest pointed at me lightly with a sinister smile. The Pale Forest demon monkeys immediately flashed over to launch a fierce attack. but their movements were extremely slow in my eyes. I raised my blade and easily blocked the incoming stone hammer. Then with a backhand slash, I killed it on the spot. This clean counterattack shocked the Lord of the Pale Forest greatly. It dared not slack off anymore and immediately waved the staff in its hand. The skill Ice Storm Raid activated instantly. Countless basketball-sized blocks of ice smashed towards me. However, having obtained the title Icefield Wanderer, I possess super high cloud-type resistance. I directly ignored the attack and charged at it holding the sharp blade. In the crisis, the Lord of the Pale Forest looked at the cloth bag beside it. It pulled out a staff containing rich magical power from it. At the same time, it ordered all Pale Forest demon monkeys to block in front of itself. But how could this kind of defense stop the current me? The skill flash activated immediately, passing through all obstacles in front. Then I raised my hand and cut off the Lord of the Pale Forest's arm with one slash. But my attack didn't stop there. Universe Sun Moon slash swung out fiercely. Countless blade lights landed on its body. The notification sound of successful kill instantly rang in my ears, and I advanced to become a D-rank nuclear warrior. After a string of blind tones, the system prompted that cloud-type elements had accumulated enough, and a new profession was about to awaken. Seeing this, my eyes flickered. I had been fighting continuously and forgot about this. I just don't know what cloud-type profession I will awaken. But to my great surprise, I actually awakened the red quality cloud-type mage. And I can switch professions at any time. Although it's only E rank, because red quality itself has a 200 bonus, its numerical strength is directly on par with my current D-rank warrior. D-rank magic bag. The Lord of the Pale Forest dropped a D-rank mage weapon, Stone of Magic, and a D-rank magic bag that can hold 20 items. I casually picked up the items, a trace of killing intent flashing in my eyes. I immediately switched my profession to cloud-type mage mode. These remaining small fry are just right for me to test the mage's strength. Meanwhile, Mom sat on the sofa all night sleepless. Not having seen me for a day, she looked very gloomy, deeply worried that something might have happened to me. At this moment, I pushed the door open and walked home. Mom, I'm sorry. I kept you waiting. Seeing me return, Mom immediately stood up. She rushed over and hugged me tightly. The worry in her heart vanished, and tears wet her eyes. I saw the cold food on the table and realized Mom had been waiting for me all along, not having eaten a single bite. As a son, I felt ashamed. I decided to move out of here with Mom, change the environment, and start a new life. At that time, I used the magic bag to bring out a dozen of the most valuable items, aside from the necessary weapons. Then I contacted a broker to sell them all. The broker looked at the bright red magic ore in his hand, nodded with satisfaction, and offered to buy everything for $800. Hearing this price, I snatched the magic ore back. I stated bluntly, $8,000 apiece. If you don't buy it, I'm leaving. After some bargaining, I finally sold all the magic ores for $7,000. With this money, I could rent a very nice house for Mom. So, that afternoon, I took her to look at houses. In my past life, she never had a single good day. In this life, I only want her to enjoy herself. I saw that Mom really liked this house, so I rented it for $15,000 a month. That same night, Mom and I moved in. It had been a long time since I saw such a relaxed smile on her face. Now that the housing issue was settled, I had risen to D-rank and even obtained a new profession. But Bai Lingsheng will be released from prison soon. I can't let my guard down yet. Until that matter is completely resolved, I can't pursue revenge without reservations. While thinking, I polished the magic stone into a bracelet. It can expand magic range by 50. Returning to school tomorrow, I can go look for that thing. Meanwhile, Hong Qiangxing had just come out of a demon cave. The bodyguards behind him kept praising his performance, but Hong Qiangxing didn't want to pay them any attention. His sister kindly ran over to hand him water, hoping he would rest a bit. Unexpectedly, Hong Qiangxing slapped the water away directly. He didn't want to waste even a second to get stronger, preparing to go to the next demon cave for extra training. Now he is an E3 rank galaxy assassin. He is determined to let everyone know who the real genius is during the mock combat test. Meanwhile, in a high-end residential area, a girl with a long braid was looking at a list in her hand. She turned out to be of the extremely rare gold quality profession. She sighed that no gold professions appeared among the Awakeners this year. In that case, this mock test wasn't worth looking forward to. The next morning, having overslept, I was frantically wolfing down breakfast. I asked Mom why she didn't wake me up. Mom gestured with her arms. Seeing you sleep so soundly, I really couldn't bear to wake you. Eat slowly. It doesn't matter if you're late once in a while. Seeing this, a smile curled up on my lips. Yeah, it's been a long time since I slept so peacefully, and I've never eaten breakfast with Mom so steadily like this. While I was thinking, Mom suddenly patted me. I was startled and asked anxiously what was wrong. Mom gestured with her hands, asking if there was anything I wanted, toys or some electronic device. I laughed loudly and waved my hand, asking why she wanted to give me a gift. Mom pointed to the calendar on the door, gesturing that next Friday was my birthday. This made my heart tremble instantly. So June 5th is my birthday. Too much time has passed. In my last life, after Mom died, no one ever celebrated my birthday again. Gradually, I forgot about this day too. But I don't really want anything right now, because I already have what I want most. Next, I will complete one of my goals. Find the dirty braid guy who backstabbed me back then and kill him. After breakfast, I arrived at the Awakener Middle School. The PE teacher announced that the devil prep for the mock combat would begin next. He told everyone to keep the importance of the mock combat in mind. The Awakener Middle School I attend is the junior division directly under God's Guild. The Guild constantly monitors every student's condition, and the mock combat is the first stage for everyone to perform after awakening. It is also the middle school graduation assessment. It will be live-streamed throughout. The most outstanding performers will have the opportunity to participate in a cultivation journey with the high school division, traveling to the God's Guild headquarters in the Saint He Kingdom for training. That place couldn't be more familiar to me. It was there that I met my master. It's also the birthplace of the dirty braid guy, but he didn't have any interaction with master. He only joined the team after I entered God's Corps. Therefore, to find the current him, I must get a high score in this assessment to sneak into the cultivation journey. At this moment, the PE teacher told everyone to start training. The first stage was physical training. Everyone was to enter the gravity room and do 10 sets of shuttle runs first. But as everyone entered the room one by one, I suddenly jumped out and told the teacher that I didn't want to use this training room. The teacher's expression instantly became serious upon hearing this. He asked me what was unreasonable about physical training. I explained that stamina is needed by almost all awakeners, so entering the gravity room isn't wrong. But shuttle runs are only suitable for warriors and assassins, professions that need speed and coordination. Not everyone needs them. Like mages and enchanters, they are better suited to enter the element room for elemental control training. Moreover, everyone has different attribute points and habits, so training points should have different focuses. These words made the look in the teacher's eyes dim. Class monitor Chi-Yin was somewhat shocked after listening because the training method I mentioned was the same as the one proposed by instructor Dongyang of God's Corps. The key point is that this training mode was only proposed recently. She wouldn't have known if she hadn't seen the tape. She didn't expect that I would think the same way as Mr. Dongyang. At this moment, the teacher patted my shoulder with a gloomy face. But in the next second, his expression became kind again. He thought the training method I mentioned was interesting, but there are too many students in the whole school. It would be very difficult to cater to everyone's uniqueness in a short time. To put it bluntly, the mock combat is everyone's middle school graduation show. If it gets messed up, it could ruin a student's life. As a teacher, whether to choose the future for the students or let the students choose their own future is also a huge dilemma. Hearing this, I fell in a deep thought. Although my original family in my last life was terrible, fortunately, I met many good teachers who allowed me to grow up not so twisted. Then I turned to the teacher and promised that this graduation show would absolutely not disappoint him. The teacher nodded slightly and asked how I wanted to train. Remembering that I awakened as a nuclear-type warrior, I immediately pointed to the element room on the side and asked if he could turn the elemental resistance to the maximum. As soon as these words came out, my friends and teachers were dumbfounded. Why would a warrior profession go to the element room for training? I hurriedly explained that I wanted to challenge my weakness and make my abilities more balanced. At this time, Chi-Yin raised her hand, indicating she also wanted to practice elemental control. Seeing this, the teacher sighed helplessly. Whatever we wanted to train, as long as we didn't embarrass him in the final assessment. On the way, the class monitor suggested sparring with me, but I rejected it without hesitation. Entering the element room, the effect of elemental resistance increased continuously. I was already too familiar with the warrior profession, but but I was still a novice in the mage profession. During this time, I needed to master it as soon as possible. Besides, I also need to hide my trump cards first. I can't let others know I can obtain other professions. This school is under God's jurisdiction. Every move will be known to them. Premature exposure could likely make me a target for those people. As for these classmates, it's better to avoid forming any connections if possible. Training time passed quickly, and before I knew it, school was over. On the way home, Glasses and Bowl Cut panted as they followed behind me. They were my middle school best friends in my last life. Because we were all dead last students and targets of bullying, we often gathered together after school. That was my only happy time in middle school. But in this life, my goal is revenge. Useless socializing will only slow me down. But that guy Glasses still makes me a bit uneasy. Watching my back as I rode away, Bowl Cut complained a bit that what's wrong with running off alone again, like last Friday. What happened to being the depressed trio? Hearing this, Glasses sighed helplessly. After that awakening, he seems to have suddenly become confident. How would someone riding a bike be willing to wait for people walking? However, I ultimately couldn't let it go. I stopped the bike on the side. I told Glasses that if he had time recently, he must go to the hospital to check his lungs. After saying that, I rode the bike toward home again. In my last life during high school, Glasses was suddenly diagnosed with lung disease. He dropped out due to severe illness and passed away not long after. Even if we don't be friends in this life, I hope he at least stays healthy. Watching my departing figure, Bowl Cut didn't understand why I suddenly became so cold. Glasses also felt that I had indeed changed a lot, but he could be sure that I was still me. Meanwhile, at the Saint He Kingdom new recruit training ground, my master, Dongyong, was leisurely enjoying the sunlight. Heard there's a new recruit who just joined God's Guild performing very dazzlingly recently. Huh? He glanced at the recruit behind him. I at you who broke all the records? The dirty braid guy nodded slightly. You flatter me, Mr. Dongyong. I came to report to you. On the other side, I told Mom to try not to go out alone in the future. I would come back earlier in the evenings to buy groceries. Mom nodded and agreed. I knew this wasn't enough. I needed to give Mom a more stable and safe environment as soon as possible. Meanwhile, at the Awakener prison, prisoners were lining up to receive today's dinner. Bai Lingsheng was naturally one of them. With subtle movements, he handed a few banknotes to the prison guard. The guard understood and whispered that he would be released in a few days. In the following time, I basically familiarized myself with the mage's controls. The key lies in release time and calculation of elemental power. During this period, I also kindly tipped off my two old friends on how to correct errors in their training. Glasses took my advice and went for a checkup. The doctor exclaimed that it was fortunate he checked in time. A parasitic tumor had appeared in his lungs. Once it starts growing, it develops extremely fast. He told him to schedule surgery at a big hospital soon. It will be fine once removed. This shocked Glasses greatly. If not for a missed school physical exam, he wouldn't have specifically added a lung CT. He didn't understand how I knew there would be a problem with his lungs. After the checkup, he walked alone in the school building, but he accidentally heard news about Hong Qiangxing. In the past few days, he used his family's demon cave to level up to level 4. And decided to seek revenge on me after school today. Hearing this, Glasses wanted to go save me without stopping, guessing that Hong Qiangxing would likely use dirty tricks, maybe even call a van full of people to bully the few with the many. Thinking of this, Glasses suddenly thought, what use is it if I go? A chanter with no attack skills is useless. Moreover, it seemed unnecessary for him to clash with Hong Qiangxing. After all, avoiding trash people is his survival rule. But in the next second, he smashed the door lock without hesitation, knowing deeply that if I hadn't told him about the lung problem, perhaps he would have died soon. In other words, this life was given by his brother. Then, even if he dies, he should save his brother. Immediately, Glasses picked a giant axe from the armory. He absolutely couldn't watch his brother get into trouble. But unexpectedly, a voice suddenly came from behind, startling him so much he almost dropped the weapon. The person who came was class monitor Chi-Yin. She asked him why he was destroying the weapon room. Glasses spoke with determination. I'm going to save my good brother. Meanwhile, I was walking home alone. Come out. You've been following me since I left school. What exactly do you want? Hearing this, Hong Qiangxing walked into the sunset, holding a bayonet. He stated bluntly that he came to settle the score from last weekend. I frowned instantly, questioning why he felt he had the strength to defeat me. Just then, Hong Qianxing activated a skill and shot toward me with acceleration. And at the moment of contact, he activated the backstab skill, wanting to defeat me by surprise. Seeing this, I immediately summoned my blade. Then I broke his bayonet with a backhand slash. Hong Qianxing was greatly shocked. He didn't expect my attack power to be so high. I turned my head and looked at him with cold eyes. "Did you think you were the only one improving?" Saying that, I gripped the blade and launched a counterattack. The first battle, Hong Qianxing didn't realize it. At this moment, after experiencing long training and growth, he instantly felt it. Even as peers, the person in front of him is an object he can never surpass. Hong Qianxing couldn't figure out why my speed of improvement was so fast. He clearly practiced extra after school, every day, working so hard on cultivation. Why wasn't he as fast as me? Hearing him say working hard, I couldn't help laughing. Holding the blade against his neck, I asked faintly, "Have you ever died?" Seeing that he couldn't turn the tables, Hong Qianxing roared, "Kill me, or whatever. You surely found me an eyesore long ago." I didn't refute this, but I didn't hate him that much. He tracked me all the way, but didn't choose to ambush me, and didn't call others. Just came alone. Then he just wanted to test his strength against me. Hearing his plan exposed, Hong Qianxing raged impotently. Told me not to talk crap. If I let him go today, he would definitely take revenge. Meanwhile, Glasses and Chi Yin were hiding and peeking. Seeing me rubbing Hong Qianxing against the ground, they realized they didn't need to intervene. At this time, I told Hong Qianxing, "Actually, I've been waiting for you. Let's make a deal. I can tell you a way to get stronger faster, but you have to give me something too." Time quickly arrived at the assessment day. After a week of training, the mock combat starts today. Before this, the teacher reminded us, although it's a mock combat, we are still going to a real demon cave. Even though most of the demon cave power is sealed by barriers, danger still exists. After all, there are many demonic beasts inside. Remember to act according to your ability. To ensure safety, the school also assigned excellent seniors from the high school division to guide. They usually won't help participate in combat, but when we encounter danger, they will intervene or interrupt in time. This assessment will form teams of 4 to 5 people. One senior will lead 3 to 4 students into the dungeon, and students can choose F or E rank dungeons themselves. The difficulty of E rank dungeons is naturally high. If you don't have sufficient strength, it is not recommended to challenge. Failure in the challenge may lead to loss of credits. After reminding us, the teacher immediately announced, "Now begin the Demon Cave rank selection. After all students select the rank, we will distribute accordingly." Now, students choosing the E rank Demon Cave, please raise your hands. As soon as the voice fell, Chi Yin raised her hand immediately. Hong Qianxing naturally also chose E-rank difficulty. Ultimately, out of 180 students, only 8 chose to go to the E-rank Demon Cave, but I wasn't among them. When the teacher announced that the remaining people would be randomly scattered into F-rank Demon Caves, I suddenly raised my hand and said I wanted to challenge the school's D-rank Spirit Jade Demon Cave. Seeing this, everyone mocked me for overestimating myself. The dean also spoke up immediately to reject it. Only awakeners above D rank can enter. I stated bluntly that the school handbook doesn't have this regulation, and the rule of the mock combat is that you can choose the rank yourself. The school's main purpose is to find excellent talents for God's Guild, and the standard for excellent talent is bravery and strength. Having said that, I asked the dean back, "Are you trying to deprive me of the chance to perform?" The dean reluctantly agreed to my request, but I must enter in a team. To this, I responded with a tough attitude. I'm enough alone for the D-rank Demon Cave. Continuous nitpicking made the dean somewhat unhappy. He said sternly that school rules must be followed. Teaming up is to ensure student safety. At this time, class monitor Chi Yin suddenly raised her hand. Changing her mind, she said she also wanted to challenge the D-rank Demon Cave. Seeing this, the dean was dumbfounded, asking Chi Yin how he would explain to her dad if she encountered danger. But Chi Yin stated bluntly that she just wanted to get a high score. The dean was both angry and anxious at this moment. Chi Yin's family background wasn't something he could bear. At this time, Chi Yin blinked at me warmly. Seemed like she wanted to say she was helping me out, but I still maintained my attitude from before. Refused to team up, wanted a solo. Chi Yin instantly blushed with anger. Asked me why I kept rejecting her. The PE teacher smiled faintly and said my refusal was invalid. But 2 people entering a D-rank dungeon still poses a risk, and there probably wouldn't be any senior willing to take the risk to lead us. At this moment, a gorgeously dressed senior suddenly raised his hand. He was willing to step in to protect the flowers of the motherland. The PE teacher remembered his name was Ziling. It was reassuring to have him lead the team. At the same time, Chi-In introduced him to me. This person seemed to have almost joined the ultimate school corps. He indeed had some strength, but I was somewhat suspicious of this guy's strength, because I had never heard of this senior or the ultimate school corps. When the teams were all assigned, the teacher announced the immediate start of the mock test. In the Demon Cave, there will be live Broadcast Pro equipment tracking the stream throughout. The entire test process will be recorded. Hope everyone performs well. Leave a colorful mark on your youth. The Awakener Middle School I'm in is built on top of a great demon cave that was once conquered. High school and middle school are together. The great demon spawned many low-level demon caves, just suitable for student trials. Most levels are controlled between F to D. The moment we enter the dungeon, it symbolizes the start of the mock combat. But the entire combat is live-streamed. All actions will be recorded. Therefore, I must control it well. Cannot expose all my trump cards in front of unknown threats. And the reason I wanted to enter the Spirit Jade Demon Cave is that the thing I want is inside. After entering the Demon Cave, Ziling guaranteed he could protect our safety. Even if it's an unsealed D-Rank Demon Cave, he had conquered it with others before. Chi-In heard this and asked curiously how strong the demonic beasts in the D-Rank Demon Cave were. Ziling explained that, generally, they are between E5 and D5. After all, the powerful demonic beasts in the school's Demon Cave have been sealed, so D-Rank monsters are unlikely to appear, let alone a boss. But even so, don't underestimate high-level E-rank monsters. Their attack power and speed are sometimes very strong too. Indeed, difficult to deal with for newly awakened rookies. Having said that, Ziling claimed he would try to find low-level demonic beasts for us to farm credits. But I'd already walked quickly in front of him. Ziling hurriedly told me to hide behind him. It would be very dangerous if I alerted high-level demonic beasts. I turned my head and looked at him coldly. That you're very noisy. Stand quietly in the back. No need for you to act. Hearing this, Ziling shook with anger. A newly awakened rookie actually dared to speak to a senior like this. Meanwhile, our every move was being live-streamed throughout. Major guilds were observing carefully in the same room. Eye-catching students would receive their invitations. The vice commander of the Ultimate School Corps was also watching this broadcast. Hope the commander would also take a look. This year's mock test wouldn't be boring. A junior chose to challenge a D-rank dungeon. The commander became interested upon hearing this. Asked what profession that person was. The vice commander explained that this was the most interesting point. A trash green warrior profession actually had the guts to challenge a D-rank dungeon. On the other side, my best friend Glasses was conquering an F-rank demon cave. As a chanter with no means of attack, he appeared very helpless when facing demonic beasts. And the situation for Hong Qiangxing conquering the E-rank demon cave wasn't good either. In the team, only he had the combat power to kill demonic beasts now. But Hong Qiangxing didn't show the slightest cowardice, constantly slaughtering the incoming demonic beasts, determined to surpass me in this test. In contrast, I appeared at ease in the D-rank demon cave. E-rank demonic beasts couldn't last 2.5 seconds under my blade. Before long, the ground in front was covered with demonic beast corpses. Chi-In looked at me with eyes full of envy, asking how on earth I did it. I explained that the monsters here were all sealed. They could only use half their power, so they weren't hard to deal with. But even so, Chi-In could see I was strong. Even with half power, fighting many alone is reality. She was still far behind me. Hearing this, I looked calm and continued deeper into the demon cave. Told her no need to compete with anyone. Just be herself. Seeing me acting so cool, Ziling was already gritting his teeth. Warn me, this is a D-rank dungeon. Being self-righteous will definitely lead to trouble. Saying that, he wanted to give me some advice as a senior, but I didn't want to listen to his barking at all. Told Chi-In to deal with the demonic beast coming out from the right. I would deal with the left. I knew this mock combat tested individual ability. The beasts on the right are lower level. Chi-In alone should be enough to handle them. This way, both she and I can get good scores. At this moment, Ziling, whom I had been ignoring, had a terrible look on his face. A longbow quietly condensed in his hand. Wanted to let me know how serious the consequences of disrespecting a senior are. Actually, I had observed just now, the galaxy-type beasts basically came out from the right cave. While being low level, they're also restrained by Qi Yin's flower element. And mages possess a basic skill belonging to their own profession at E-rank. And Chi Yin's skill is using plants to create a poisonous wall. But coming to a demon cave for the first time, being able to calmly deal with monsters higher level than herself alone like this, and thinking of using the wall to surround and narrow the range to kill monsters. She indeed has certain talent. At this moment, I arrived at the entrance of the left cave. D-rank monsters should all be sealed. Right now, Chi Yin is enough to handle these low-level demonic beasts alone. In this situation, even in front of the live broadcast pro, I can hide my strength and get a high score. Just have to think of a way to dodge the surveillance and enter inside. But just then, Senior Ziling suddenly drew his bow and aimed at Chi Yin. Without any hesitation, he released the string. An arrow flew past Chi Yin at extremely high speed. It flew straight into the cave on the left. Chi Yin was just about to ask him what he meant. Ziling hurriedly said he wanted to give her a buff, but the shot went astray. At the same time, a colossal beast rushed out of the cave at high speed. Looking closely, it was actually 8D11, level 2-headed maned lion. Seeing this, Chi Yin hurriedly mobilized her magic power to create a vine wall. But due to the difference in levels, the 2-headed maned lion quickly broke free from the restraints. Just as Chi Yin was about to die in its bloody maw, Ziling's eyes turned manic, knowing it was his turn to perform. However, I had already noticed something was wrong. Skill haste activated instantly. I rushed over to support at maximum speed. My blade swung down violently, slashing the 2-headed maned lion's face. The 2-headed maned lion retreated a few steps in pain. The eye on one of its heads was blinded, but I still didn't understand. How could this monster's speed be so fast? Behind me, Ziling now wore a sinister expression. He knew this demon cave very well. Although most D-rank beasts were sealed, a single omitted 2-headed maned lion in this cave would constantly respawn. Newly awakened recruits couldn't handle this kind of monster at all, and the arrow he shot earlier was specifically to apply a buff to the 2-headed maned lion. Gravity reduced by 10 times. Damage and speed significantly increased. My expression grew grave. Could it be that I have to use my full strength to defeat this monster? But I quickly abandoned this cowardly thought. I told Chi Yin to retreat to the back. At this moment, the 2-headed maned lion pounced towards us with a ferocious look. Chi Yin hurriedly mobilized her magic power to use the skill vine wall. The 2-headed maned lion was instantly immobilized on the spot. Having learned her lesson, Chi Yin continued to mobilize her magic power. Under the restraint of 3 layers of vine walls, the 2-headed maned lion was unable to attack. This scene left me dumbfounded. I didn't expect this girl to have such a trick up her sleeve. Sheen told me she didn't want to run away alone. Even if the beast was D-rank, she wanted to deal with it together with me. She had worked so hard. She couldn't just give up in a place like this. Hearing this, I smiled faintly. I thought she would be scared silly, but I didn't expect her to adjust so quickly. I told her to watch her elemental power consumption. She couldn't use skills recklessly anymore. I remembered Chi-Yin from my past life. She was already shining brightly in junior high. She was a confident and optimistic young lady. Although I heard her family background was deep, she was kind of everyone. She became the class monitor in junior high and was very serious and responsible in everything she did. But later, there was no news of her. Perhaps she lived a plain and ordinary life. But she is someone trustworthy right now. As long as no other accidents occur, I should be able to hide my strength and pass this level. Seeing that we actually wanted to kill a monster above our level and weren't begging him, as senior, for help, Ling flew into a rage. One must know that real combat doesn't rely on confidence alone. Newly awakened rookies couldn't possibly deal with this enhanced D-rank monster. Therefore, he decided to continue watching. He would only act when we were forced to beg him for help. Just then, the two-headed maned lion completely broke free from the vine wall's restraint. I told Chi-Yin that I would lure the lion, and she should find the right moment to strike. With that, she and I ran in opposite directions. Since I had just dealt damage to the two-headed maned lion, its priority target was me. So, I immediately ran towards the river. Then, I jumped into the river without hesitation. As I expected, the two-headed maned lion would inevitably enter the water to continue the pursuit. And as a nuclear-type beast, it would fall into a situation of certain death. In an instant, countless vines suddenly emerged from the bottom of the water to entangle it. It turned out Chi-Yin had found the right moment to strike from the shore. As she lightly uttered the word bind, The two-headed maned lion, which could originally break free from the vine wall easily, was helpless. Its berserk and nuclear states both failed, and it fell into a poisoned state. I took the opportunity to swim from the bottom to the shore. I told Chi-In that the two-headed maned lion was now a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Killing it would be enough to get the highest score in the test. Ziling, watching from the side, was already dumbfounded. He couldn't believe a single layer of vine wall could actually trap the two-headed maned lion. Even if he were to act, it wouldn't be that easy to subdue it. Moreover, the two-headed maned lion had been specifically enhanced by him. The teachers watching the live stream provided the answer. The nuclear-type lion being lured into the water caused its skills to fail to activate. In the water, flower-type abilities were strengthened. Using the simplest elemental counter and teamwork, they easily suppressed a monster higher than their own level. Their on-the-spot reaction capability and leadership skills were excellent. Thus, the teachers concluded that the top spot in this practical combat was no longer in suspense. After finishing off the two-headed maned lion, the entire recording would be submitted to the guild for review. It was very likely to get the highest score in history. But just then, the live stream was suddenly interrupted. And the person who destroyed the live stream pro was none other than the exasperated Ziling. As long as there was no video evidence, we wouldn't get the highest credits. Chi-In and I were still unaware of this at the moment. I told her that her ability contributed greatly to this victory. Only by training enough elemental resistance beforehand could she use a single skill with so many variations to trap it. At this time, Ziling walked over with a face full of impatience. He told us if we wanted to exchange pleasantries, we should go out and chat slowly. Saying that, he walked towards the demon cave entrance with great resentment. I immediately retorted calmly. You know clearly what suddenly enhancing a D-rank monster means for students entering a demon cave for the first time, right? Ziling explained he originally intended to enhance Chi-In, but he just shot astray. Hearing this, I sneered. As an archer, unable to even guarantee aiming ability, his level was truly poor. Beside me, Chi-In added a finishing blow. No wonder you couldn't get selected for the ultimate school team. As soon as these words came out, Ziling immediately pulled out his longbow, becoming furious from embarrassment. Seeing this, I immediately stood in front of Chi-In, my eyes showing no fear whatsoever. Ziling couldn't help but be intimidated by my aura. He put away his longbow, turned, and walked towards the entrance, stating bluntly that the road ahead was long, and who knows who will be glorious. After the storm settled, I noticed the destroyed Livestream Pro. No need to guess, I knew that guy did it. His purpose was to prevent Chi-In and me from getting a high score. Now that no one could see the situation here, and after he went out, he would need an entrance permit to come back in. And others were quite a distance away from this demon cave. It created just enough time for me. I could go get the thing I wanted in the demon cave. Then, Chi-In and I arrived in front of the sealed cave. I hoped she could help me keep everything that happened next a secret. Although, even if she told anyone, no one would believe it. Chi-In listened in confusion, not understanding what I intended to do. I casually took a stone out of my pocket. This was exactly the thing I asked Hong Qianxing for back then. The unsealing magic stone. I placed the magic stone on the pile of rocks at the cave entrance. A dark red light bloomed wildly. And what I was going to do was completely liberate the D-rank demon cave. Seeing this, Chi-In hurriedly persuaded me to stop. Once unsealed, the high-level monsters inside would all swarm out. The two of us alone couldn't deal with them at all. I told her to just rest assured. Their power was still affected by the seal. And next I could solve this alone. With that, I immediately switched to Red Cloud Mage. Chi-In looked on dumbfounded. She didn't understand why I could also turn into a mage. I didn't have time to explain. I told her to go stay at the exit first. Just then, 3 two-headed maned lions suddenly rushed out of the cave. I immediately mobilized elemental power to cast the skill Flash Freeze. The aggressively attacking two-headed maned lions were instantly frozen into ice sculptures. Chi-In covered her mouth in shock. She didn't expect my mage profession to actually be of red quality. I turned my head and told her that these monsters have been sealed inside for so long. They must be suffocating. They would swarm out together soon. Therefore, I needed a larger field. Chi-In understood and immediately retreated several steps, ensuring she wouldn't cause me trouble. At this moment, a D12 flame leopard rushed out of the cave. I knew that although these monsters were D-rank, having been sealed for a long time, their power had decayed by at least half. and my mage skill was flash freeze. Controlling them all was the primary goal. Just then, I felt killing intent suddenly surge from behind. I immediately switched to Nuclear Warrior. At the same time, I noticed the one attacking me was a D13 Fire Sabertooth. The skill Instant Flash activated immediately. Circling behind it, I switched back to Cloud Mage again. The skill Flash Freeze instantly froze it into an ice sculpture. Chi-Yin, who watched the whole process, was already stunned. She didn't expect I could switch professions so casually. And seeing my current operation, she could understand the reason I wanted to enter the element room to train elemental resistance back then. It was because the essence of the mage profession is actually outputting energy directly in the form of natural forces or manipulating objects of the same element within a certain range. Previously, she thought the stronger the mana and the more times one cast, the more powerful one was. But after seeing my operation, she realized that control over power is what's more important. Elemental power comes from nature. It is a wild, primitive power that is hard to tame. Only by completely controlling one's own elemental power can one produce more variations. Even a basic skill can achieve more uses in my hands. As I manipulated countless blocks of hard ice to smash down heavily, the monsters in front of me were all frozen into ice without exception. At this moment, Chi-Yin realized that all of them had been left far behind by me long ago. But she had to admit, seeing me like this made her think I was very cool. At this time, the Spirit Jade Demon Lord finally appeared. It was a D15 prison mammoth. Seeing this, I switched to Nuclear Warrior and took out my blade. I immediately leaped up, jumping onto its head to attack its vitals. The blade constantly cut through its thick hide, leaving an extremely long wound on its body. I have to say, a sealed level 15 mammoth strength couldn't even compare to a level 10 monkey. At this moment, the prison mammoth turned and charged at me. I went with the flow, my blade constantly slashing at its vitals. One of the prison mammoth's legs instantly lost strength. Seeing this, I frantically mobilized my elemental power. The killer move, Pure Land, instantly cut it in half at the waist, obtained the Title 1 against 100, and those monsters frozen by me met the same fate. The sound of kill notifications echoed constantly in my ears. At the same time, I also obtained the high-level material Jade Tooth. It is a necessary material for crafting the S-Rank nuclear weapon Blazing Innocence. I casually put it into my magic bag. Then I looked down at the jade pendant that dropped from the prison mammoth's body. This response jade was exactly the thing I needed most right now. At the same time, my mage profession leveled up to D rank, and the Title 1 against 100 was upgraded to one man holds the pass. And Chi-Yin's level also reached E7. I reminded her not to forget what I said. I hoped she could keep everything that happened here a secret. Meanwhile, the teachers detected that the Spirit Jade Demon's seal had been broken and were rushing to the entrance in a hurry. On the way, they happened to meet Zi Ling. They questioned why he came out alone. Shouldn't he be inside protecting the juniors? But due to the urgency of the matter, the teachers didn't have time to understand the specific details. The urgent task was to enter the demon cave to confirm the student's safety. Upon learning the seal was broken, Zi Ling revealed a sinister smile. He secretly mocked that this was the consequence of offending a senior. However, when the teachers entered the Spirit Jade Demon Cave, they found that Chi-Yin and I hadn't suffered any harm at all, and the unsealed cave had long been secretly resealed by me. On the other side, Zi Ling arrived in front of the vice captain of the ultimate school team. He stated bluntly that the materials he submitted this time were very sufficient. Should the last team member spot be reserved for him? Hearing this, the vice captain shook his head slightly, indicating the captain already had a candidate. As soon as these words came out, Zi Ling felt like he was struck by lightning. His face was full of disbelief. Grabbing the vice captain's arm, he questioned angrily, wasn't it agreed that this spot would be left empty for the most valuable person? Are my strength and background still not enough? During the argument, the captain walked over slowly. She explained she had already found the most valuable person, and the captain of the ultimate school team was actually my teammate from my past life, Hilo. The person she had her eye on was exactly me. Meanwhile, at a street stall outside the school, Inspector Chen Jinwu sternly warned by Lingxing. He told him not to pull any more stunts. It took a lot of effort to fish him out early this time. He also said he got the latest news. Hong Daowei is coming back next Friday. He told Bai Lingsheng to be sensible. Slurping noodles, Bai Lingsheng nodded slightly, telling him to rest assured. At this moment, Vice Captain Liang suddenly called. Seeing this, Chun Jinwu was full of disdain. He stated he had to go back to the squad now and told Bai Lingsheng to go home early too. Bai Lingsheng's expression instantly became sinister. He said in a low voice that of course, he would go home early, but when he returned home, he was dumbfounded. He was shocked to find the house actually empty. Exasperated, he frantically smashed the furniture. He swore that if he found out where we were, he would definitely kill us. Meanwhile, I hung one of the response jades on Mom. I instructed her to always keep it with her from now on, and I would carry the other piece on me. If she ever encountered danger, she just needed to crush this jade. My jade would sense it. Then I would immediately come to Mom's side. Before, it was because I didn't have this thing, so I really wasn't at ease with Mom going out alone. In my memory, Mom had never received any necklaces or jewelry. She had never obtained anything a woman should enjoy. This made me, as a son, feel inevitably guilty. At this time, Mom gestured to me with her hands, telling me I didn't need to revolve around her all weekend. At this age, I should go out and play with friends more. I smiled faintly and shook my head slightly, telling Mom to rest assured. I didn't have that kind of need. Mom hurriedly gestured with her hands, expressing, "How can a person not need friends? You must have people important to you." I certainly knew I had important people and friends, but I just didn't know if I could meet that group of guys in this life. At 11:58 p.m., I arrived in front of a wild D-rank demon cave. This was another hidden demon cave I knew of. It only opened briefly at midnight at night and closed at 1 o'clock, so I didn't have much time. Now I should focus on improving myself. In my past life, I'd already become a top-tier warrior, yet I could still only watch helplessly as my comrades died before my eyes. Thinking of this, I summoned my blade and charged forward to kill. With just one slash, I insta-killed a D13 bloodthirsty flower. At this moment, I remember Mom asking me why I didn't make some friends. This was like a thorn stuck in my heart. So what if I made friends? When a god decides to act on a whim one day, we will still die without a burial place. Therefore, I must become stronger, become faster, until I am more powerful than everyone else. The sound of kill notifications echoed constantly in my ears, but this experience was far from enough. I must fight desperately. Currently, I am really too weak. I can't even beat that man, let alone that genius who was a gold rank archer since childhood. So I don't have any detours or shortcuts to take. I cannot avoid any enemy. As I mobilized my elemental power to use the killer move Pure Land, the monsters hindering my advance were all cut in half and killed. My originally scarred body also instantly recovered to its original state. But the entrance to this demon cave would close in just 20 minutes. I must hurry to deal with the Lord. Subsequently, I walked into the depths of the demon cave with vigilance. Very quickly, I sensed killing intent suddenly surging not far away. I saw a monster standing on a large tree ahead. It was precisely the D20 Lord, Yi Wuming. In the blink of an eye, it suddenly vanished from its spot. When it reappeared, it had already arrived in front of me. Seeing this, I immediately summoned the Kunwa blade. Raising my hand, I slashed directly, cutting off its attacking heavy fist. But Yi Wuming's expression remained incredibly calm. The skill's self-healing activated instantly. A brand new arm grew out immediately. I couldn't help but be a little surprised. This self-healing ability could actually be this strong. At this time, Yi Wuming inserted its arm into the earth. Countless emerald green vines suddenly shot out from the surroundings. Immediately after, those monsters I had killed actually revived on the spot. I was extremely puzzled. Logically speaking, a D-rank lord shouldn't have resurrection abilities. While pondering, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my abdomen. Only then did I realize my stomach had been pierced by a spike that attacked from who knows when. And the one who ambushed me was actually his second lord, C.I. Wuming. It was Yi Wuming's twin brother. At this moment, the time reached 1 a.m. The demon cave's entrance and exit were closed. Meanwhile, because I hadn't returned home for so long, Mom was very worried. No matter if she sent messages or called, she didn't get any response from me. This planted a bad premonition in her heart. She decided to go out and look. She guessed I definitely went to some dangerous place again, just like last time. But what was terrible was that Bai Lingsheng had found out mine and Mom's new address from somewhere. Braving the heavy rain, he walked slowly to the entrance of the high-end residential complex. He was determined to beat me and Mom into severe paralysis tonight. Within this period of time, I had already killed the twin lords a full 5 times. But they could instantly recover and stand up again, and those revived monsters would frequently attack me. However, killing them wouldn't grant experience or items again. It would only consume my stamina in vain. Therefore, my urgent task now was to find the source of their constant resurrection. I immediately activated Instant Flash to appear in front of CI Wooming. The blade accurately pierced into its vitals, but its injury healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was exactly Yi Wooming behind it, activating the healing ability. But I had tried attacking that guy before too. Even if I cut off its head, it could self-heal immediately. This ability was simply too buggy, constantly reviving dead monsters and instantly fully healing injured teammates. One must know that even S-rank healers couldn't reach this standard. What exactly is providing a boost to its power? Or is there some place storing a massive amount of healing power? While I was pondering, CI Wooming suddenly activated the skill Instant Flash. Almost in the blink of an eye, it arrived at my side. I hurriedly used the skill block to neutralize the attack. At the same time, the skill object repel triggered, reflecting the physical damage fully back to the opponent. I never expected that after fighting for a while, this guy would actually learn my moves. At this moment, CI Wooming lightly spat out 3 words, "You are strong," after saying that the injuries on its body healed as before. But this time, I saw clearly what was playing tricks in the background. A confident look appeared on my face. This large tree behind CI Wooming was the energy center. Seeing this, I immediately cut off CI Wooming's arm and rushed over killingly. I knew the Lord's healing power was also because of this tree's existence, allowing it to work over such a large range. So as long as I cut down these large trees, I could kill them completely. In an instant, I raised my hand and slashed, cutting the large tree in half. At the same time, I switched my profession to Cloud Mage. I immediately released the skill Flash Freeze. CI Wooming and Yi Wooming were instantly frozen into ice sculptures. Then I switched back to Nuclear Warrior. The blade instantly pierced through Yi Wooming's chest, just as I expected. After Yi Wooming and the tree fell, they lost all healing and resurrection abilities. At the same time, I also obtained the high-level item Lark Grass. It can instantly restore 50 stamina and cure most physical injuries. At this moment, CI Wooming broke free from the Flash Freeze restraint, but the current, it could no longer pose a threat to me. But what I absolutely didn't expect was CI Wooming actually actively opened its arms, letting me kill it. This was my first time seeing such a lord. Perhaps because its brother died in battle, it didn't wish to live on alone. I immediately raised my hand and killed it with 1 slash. It could be considered fulfilling its wish. Obtained high-level material Poison Thorn. It is a necessary material for crafting the S-rank flower weapon Poison Pierce Unrestricted. After this battle, my Nuclear Warrior level reached D15. Cloud Mage reached D13. And with enough flower-type elemental accumulation, a new profession was about to awaken. Colorful, fresh flowers instantly swirled around me. I began to look forward to what color profession I would awaken this time. But I never expected to actually awaken the blue quality flower summoner. However, for the summoner profession, the requirement for stats aren't high. I just don't know how the main skill is. I immediately opened the panel to check. I didn't expect this flower spirit contract to be so god tier. After defeating a flower-type monster, one can sign a contract with its soul, making it serve oneself. I could see the ones who just died, and coincidentally, I had just defeated 2 flower-type lords. The passive skill among the flowers triggered. I saw Yi Wooming and CI Wooming's souls. I immediately activated the skill Flower Spirit contract. I lightly uttered 2 words, "Stand up." Thus, the 2 great lords became my contracted beasts. Meanwhile, Bai Lingsheng had already arrived at the entrance of the residential complex. But suddenly the phone rang, interrupting his steps. After answering, he heard Chun Jinwu's voice, telling Bai Lingsheng to come attend Hong Dawei's drinking party. After getting the news, Bai Lingsheng immediately turned and left the residential complex. He guaranteed he would definitely strive hard and prepare a luxurious gift for Hong Dawei. He absolutely wouldn't waste this great opportunity to return to the guild team. After hanging up the phone, Bai Lingxing's face was full of smiles. He lamented that today was truly a good day. He decided not to go to mine and Mom's new home tonight for the time being, but to go find his sister to catch up instead. Just a few short minutes later, Mom also arrived at the entrance of the residential complex. She happened to see me walking into the complex after buying groceries. I walked quickly to Mom and held the umbrella over her head. "Let's go home, Mom." After returning home, I gave the woven flower-type bracelet to Mom. I explained that the reason I went out at night was to make up this Mother's Day gift for her. But even though Mom couldn't speak, she knew clearly that I had gone to a dangerous place during this time. After dinner, I lay in bed lost in thought. Currently, I possess a total of 3 professions: the Green Warrior, the Blue Summoner, and the Red Mage. 2 of the combat professions have already reached D rank. And although the newly awakened Flower Summoner is only E rank, as the level increases, the number of contracts will increase. And after advancement, it can contract monsters of unlimited elements. But this is far from enough. Bai Lingsheng was imprisoned on the 21st. It is now the 10th day. He will be released in 5 days. But given his personality, the possibility of him bribing the jailers to get out early is not non-existent. That's why I prepared these things in advance, just in case. The next morning, I arrived at another hidden demon cave. I knew that avoidance would not solve the problem. I must completely resolve this matter before the training journey. In just a few hours, I had already cleared 4 hidden demon caves, but it was far from enough. I couldn't rest for a moment these few days. I needed to raise my profession level to C rank as soon as possible. By the next time I meet Bai Lingsheng, I will be stronger than him. At this moment, the system suddenly sent a prompt sound. I obtained the new title Lone Wolf Hero and the item Hero's Key. The Hero's Tower can be unlocked after meeting certain conditions. In the blink of an eye, it was Monday morning. Teacher Huang announced that the final assessment results were out. Qi and I took the high scores of 1st and 2nd in the whole school respectively. Furthermore, my recording was sent to headquarters for careful analysis and was finally rated as the highest score in history. So this time, Qi and I obtained the qualification for the training journey. Also, because of my outstanding performance at the time, I will receive an audience with the divine race this time. This made many classmates in the class endlessly envious, because an audience with the divine race is an honor that even clergy members might not necessarily obtain. This unexpected joy was something I absolutely hadn't anticipated. To think I could directly meet that group of people so soon. My best friend Glasses was sincerely happy for me. He knew I would definitely shine. Meanwhile, at the Academic Affairs office, the dean, Hong Liang, asked Hong Qiangsheng, "Are you sure you don't want to go along? Your dad finally came back this time. You could totally use the excuse of going to headquarters with him to tag along on this training journey." Hearing this, Hong Qiangsheng immediately denied it. He believed that since he only got 3rd place this time and didn't get the qualification, he didn't deserve to go. He didn't want others to think everything he had relied on his father. Hearing these words, Hong Liang couldn't help but show a gratified look. He didn't expect Hong Qiangsheng to have such backbone. He also really hoped his father could see his growth. At this moment, Hong Qiangsheng asked Hong Liang to do him a favor. Open the authority for the sealed D-rank demon cave in the back mountain. The reason given was also very simple. He wanted to rely on himself to constantly become stronger. On the other side, in the principal's office, Ziling begged his uncle to let him go on this training journey. After all, he was the only descendant of the Z family. Principal Zi Yinxing looked serious after hearing this. Naturally, he knew Ziling was the only bloodline of the Z family. But how dare he be so impulsive in his actions? How could he do such a thing during the practical test? Strengthening monsters to backstab his juniors. As soon as these words came out, Ziling's expression suddenly became very panicked. Before he could explain, the principal suddenly slammed the table heavily. Oh, you think the people above are pig-brained? Can't they see through your clumsy tricks? If I hadn't suppressed the matter, do you think you could still stay in the school? Speaking of this, Ziling's legs began to tremble uncontrollably. He hurriedly knelt down to admit his mistake, guaranteeing there wouldn't be a next time. Seeing this, the principal looked indifferent and told him to stand up. He stated that it was also because of Ziling's action this time that the people above discovered me, a special person. They felt something was amiss about me. Principal Zi Yinxing stated that my growth curve was too unreasonable, so someone from the divine race wanted to meet me personally this time. He decided to help Ziling tag along on this training journey. but the condition was to keep his rotten temper in check. If he caused any more trouble, he wouldn't be able to protect him. Ziling immediately showed a look of joy and thanked his uncle, the principal. At the same time, he silently calculated in his heart that he would leave me with unforgettable memories during this training journey. And also Lu, who refused to let him join the ultimate school team. He swore that sooner or later he would get his hands on her. Meanwhile, I received an invitation letter from the ultimate school team. This made the classmates in the class endlessly envious, because this is the strongest school team in the school. Joining them means being able to enter the Gods Guild directly without an exam. And the founder is the school's only gold assassin this year. Usually, everyone has to apply desperately just for a chance to join. My best friend Bowl Cut was already streaming tears at this moment, feeling happy to have such an excellent brother. I immediately stood up and took the invitation letter in my hand. Then, without hesitation, I threw it into the trash can. The classmates didn't understand why I refused, turning down such a great future delivered to my doorstep. I didn't respond to this. Saying I had something to do, I left the classroom. Bowl Cut looked at the invitation letter in the trash can, feeling it was a pity. This was an opportunity he could never have in his lifetime. Glasses, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. They don't understand Z, but don't you understand? He probably won't join anyone's guild at all. The current imp will only be a leader. After night fell, I arrived alone at the school's back mountain, and Hong Xiangxing was already waiting at the Demon Cave entrance. He said he got the D-rank Demon Cave authority. No one would come to this area at night. I nodded slightly, feeling that a D-rank Demon Cave was too difficult for him. Maybe start with an E-rank Demon Cave? Hong Xiangxing immediately retorted, telling me to cut the crap. He wouldn't drag me down when fighting. I had promised before to show him practical combat skills and a way to become strong quickly. But the condition was to help me get the authority for the school's Demon Cave. However, what I didn't expect was that he actually found all the D-rank Demon Caves. At this moment, Hong Xiangxing was pushed to the ground by a monster. I kindly asked him if he wanted my help. Hong Xiangxing immediately told me to get lost. He could solve it alone. After saying that, he picked up his bayonet and launched an attack on the monster again. I observed from the side while falling into deep thought. I accidentally obtained the hero's key back then, which is the key item to unlock the hero's tower. But the prerequisite is that my profession needs to reach B rank to use it. Currently, the wild demon caves I can find are almost all cleared. These ones at school are my only channel for leveling up now. One must know, the higher the profession level, the more experience is needed to level up. After reaching D rank, leveling up became much slower. But fortunately, there are enough monsters. This experience is enough. For the next few days, Hong Xiangxing and I were basically leveling in the D-rank Demon Cave. During this period, the invitation letter from the Ultimate School team was delivered every day, but I still had no intention of accepting the invitation. After 3 days passed, Hong Xiangxing successfully promoted to D-rank. He lamented that entering the Demon Cave himself was much more interesting than being accompanied by those stupid bodyguards at home. And I finally raised the warrior profession to C rank. The Cloud Mage reached level D19, and the Flower Summoner also reached level D11. The current stats are enough to deal with by Lingxiang. And after reaching C rank, I also possess a brand new skill. After returning home, Mom revealed a meaningful smile and gestured with her hands, asking me if I'd been dating some cute girl these past few days. I immediately waved my hands, indicating how could that be possible. I was just a middle school student. Mom continued to gesture. Then you come back so late every day. Could it be you went fooling around with your little bros? If there's a girl you like, it's also very normal. For someone you care about and like, you should bravely chase after them. Don't wait until you lose the chance to feel regret. Hearing these words, my expression suddenly became solemn. I indeed had a girl I cared about. She was my teammate in my previous life, Lu. Although this guy was usually carefree and liked to stick to me, she was very serious and focused every time we went on a mission. I could entrust my back to her without hesitation. But this guy wanted me to hug her every time we completed a mission. It made me, the captain, run away with a blushing face every time, until all of us were backstabbed by the Dreadlocks man. Only then did I realize that regardless of what kind of feeling it was based on, I had never actively hugged her once. In a previous life, it was after being rescued from death row by Master that I met Lu. The meeting with her was in the capital of Saint He Kingdom. I don't know where she would be now. In this life, it's hard for me to meet her again. In this life, lived again, only I retain the memories of the previous life. Even if we meet, there probably won't be any connection anymore, right? However, what I didn't know yet was that I would meet her in the near future. The vice captain of the ultimate school team sent a message to Hilo. Z still hasn't responded yet. It seems he has no interest in our school team. Hilo smiled faintly upon seeing this message after washing up. She developed a great interest in me, a middle school student. She decided to personally deliver the invitation letter tomorrow. Waking up the next day, I received Mom's gift. Mom expressed happy birthday to me through sign language. Only then did I remember that today was my birthday. And the gift Mom gave me was a scarf she knitted herself, wishing her dear son happiness forever, to be able to bravely live the life he chooses. I was naturally very moved in my heart, but summer didn't seem suitable for wearing a scarf. I asked Mom if she knew I was going to Saint He Kingdom soon. Mom nodded slightly and gestured to me. The temperature difference between day and night there is large. You have to take good care of yourself. Mom will also take good care of herself. My heart trembled instantly. So Mom always knew what I was doing. She had been silently supporting me from behind. While I was lamenting, Mom suddenly handed me a wad of money. She told me to treat my best friends to a meal today. Looking at the money in my hand, I sighed helplessly. What friends did I have now? After breakfast, I arrived at school. Unexpectedly, an extremely exquisite figurine was placed on my desk. Never having been in touch with ACG culture, I felt confused. I couldn't tell which character this was. Bullcut asked me with a face full of excitement how his gift was. This was his favorite one. Today he parted with it as a birthday gift for me. Glasses immediately walked over from the side. He thought a gift like a figurine was too tacky, and he stated bluntly that the gift he gave was obtained with great difficulty. I looked down and my eyes were instantly filled with shock. This was actually the original tape of my favorite movie, The Prestige. In my previous life, I often ran to the shed with Glasses to steal glances at banned prehistoric movies. Glasses hurriedly whispered to me that this thing absolutely couldn't be discovered by the teacher. He told me to make sure to hide it well. Hearing this, I immediately stuffed the original tape into my desk and sincerely thanked him for the gift. At this time, the class monitor Chi-een also walked over. With a face full of smiles, she handed me the birthday gift she had meticulously prepared. Bowl-cut and Glasses looked over and instantly exclaimed in surprise, marveling at how generous the class monitor was. The gift was actually an A-rank mage weapon, an illusion gem. I had to say, this gift moved me. But this thing was really too expensive. I hope Chi-een could take it back. Chi-een smiled gently and told me to accept it with peace of mind. She said if it weren't for me, she wouldn't have been able to participate in the training journey. And this wasn't anything particularly precious. There were many more at home. Moreover, it should be very helpful to the current me. Hearing these words, I fell in a deep thought. I indeed needed to improve myself now. There was no reason to refuse. She must have seen me using the lowest level mage weapon when I switched professions. That's why she sent me this illusion gem. She really is a very attentive girl. But what touched me the most was that these guys actually all remembered my birthday and prepared gift for me so seriously. I originally wanted to leave this place silently like this, without creating any bonds or entanglements with them. But now this idea has been discarded by me. The three of them are important people in my heart. Let's have dinner together tonight. My treat. Do you guys have time? As soon as the words fell, the three immediately shouted that they had time. Bowl-cut said he would decide the place to eat. At this moment, I heard the discussions of students at the back of the classroom. Why did people from the high school division come to the middle school division? Seems like they're heading towards our class. At the same time, the whole floor was discussing, saying that the captain of the ultimate school team was coming to invite me to join personally. Seeing this situation, I stood up. It seems it's better to refuse face to face. As I slowly walked out of the classroom, everyone's gaze focused on me. Among them naturally included Ling, who had wanted to harm me back then. He still didn't understand what shining point I had on me that could actually make the captain come to invite me personally. Just then, the lights in the corridor were suddenly extinguished by a current of electricity. My eyes suddenly became shocked, because this golden current gave me an inexplicable sense of familiarity. At this time, a bolt of current passed through the crowd in the corridor, attacking towards me at an extremely fast speed. Seeing this, I had no intention of dodging at all, because I saw that this was just a fake move. I immediately summoned the Kunwa blade to sense the changes in the surrounding aura. Soon, a golden current attacked rapidly from the left rear. I immediately held the blade behind my back to block this sneak attack. The movement was so fast that no one present saw it clearly. At this moment, a female voice that I couldn't be more familiar with sounded. Reaction is indeed fast. Seems I didn't choose the wrong person. I looked towards the sound, my eyes full of disbelief. Never did I expect that the captain of the ultimate school team was actually Hilu, who went through life and death with me in my previous life. The girl was recognized as the strongest awakener in the whole school. But upon meeting her for the first time, the young man hugged her without hesitation. This made the girl think I had agreed to join her school team. But I stated bluntly that joining a school club had no meaning, and hoped she could join the guild I established in the future. It turned out that not long ago, I discovered Hilu was actually the captain of the school team. Memories regarding her from the past life instantly flooded my heart. This girl who was always full of vitality, lively, and cheerful. She would dissolve the gloomy atmosphere after every mission ended. Her carefree personality also often made me blush. Seeing me stunned in place, Hilu spoke up proactively, explaining that the ultimate school team sent me many invitations, but never received my response. So she came over personally today to visit. Bowl cut and glasses muttered in low voices after hearing this. If I really refused the invitation to her face, it would make Hilu, as the captain, very embarrassed. At this moment, Hilu reached out to me and began to introduce herself. But how could I not know who she was? The hug I never agreed to in the past life. At this moment, I initiated it without hesitation. I had so many things I wanted to say to her slowly, but the words finally condensed into one sentence at my lips. Hila, long time no see. This sudden hug left Hilu dumbfounded on the spot. The originally noisy corridor also became incredibly quiet at this time. The students' gazes all focused on Hilu and me. Seeing this, Bowl Cut was completely dumbfounded. He didn't expect me to actually hug her directly in public, complaining, "Is this a real-life version of a cross-class romance with an older sister?" Class monitor Chi Een looked over tongue-tied. She had liked me a bit since long ago, but she didn't expect me to like the older sister type. Glasses whispered an explanation to Bowl Cut. Hila was originally in the same grade as us, but because she awakened in the first year of middle school, she skipped grades and entered high school early. So she doesn't count as an older sister. At this moment, Lee's figure suddenly turned into a bolt of golden lightning. Then her whole person actually passed through me instantly. "Does your hug mean you accepted my invitation?" After saying that, Hilo introduced for me. "The ultimate school team is fully funded by the school. It will give me the best resources. There are many ways to become strong faster than doing school dungeons after school. With a common goal of becoming stronger, maybe there's even a chance to fight side by side." I listened to her introduction very patiently, but I still expressed that I wouldn't join the ultimate school team because I wouldn't stay in the school for long. Joining a school club was meaningless. At this point, I actively held Lee's hand, claiming that I would establish my own guild before long. At that time, naturally, there would also be opportunities to fight side by side with her. Just then, a member of the ultimate school team ran over in a panic, informing Hilu that Captain Hong had returned to school. The principal asked the ultimate school team to go collectively to greet him. Hearing these words, Hila nodded slightly and let go of my hand. "We'll meet again soon at the training journey. We'll have a good chat then. Why did you say long time no see?" After saying that, Hila went with the school team members to greet Captain Hong. And her departure also gave the students a new topic. They didn't expect me to reject Lee's invitation to her face, and even invited her to join my own guild, thinking that I, still a minor, couldn't possibly have the funds to establish a new guild. What was even more exaggerated was that I hugged Hilu just now, but Hila didn't show any intention of refusing. The gossip of the crowd didn't move me in the slightest, because I never thought I would meet Hila like this. The information of everyone in the Gods Guild is strictly confidential. We also never asked about each other's past, so I never thought that Hila would be in the same middle school as me, leading to almost missing this encounter. However, this can also be considered an unexpected birthday surprise. Father drained the family fortune to send an extremely expensive magic crystal, only begging the captain to be lenient and let him rejoin the guild. But he didn't know the other party detested this kind of bribery behavior extremely. He immediately laid down harsh words that no one was allowed to let this dog join the team. This made the father, who couldn't control his emotions, lose all face. He swore he would kill everyone who looked down on him. And the first object he vented his anger on wantonly was actually Mom, who never owed him even a shred. It turned out that not long ago, Hilu and I unexpectedly resumed our fate. After school, I took Chi-In and the other two to a barbecue shop for dinner. Glasses and bowl cut seriously discussed how to eat roast meat, so it would be delicious enough. Chi-In asked me if I was serious about establishing a guild, and said I wouldn't stay here long. Was I planning to leave here for high school? I drank a mouthful of beverage and nodded slightly. I indeed planned to stay in Saint He Kingdom after the training journey. This answer shocked the three of them greatly. Discussing whether I was planning to drop out of high school to start business, I explained that I just wanted to go there to study. Therefore, I want to get into the institution that all students dream of, Saint He Kingdom's Divine Weapon Academy. Meanwhile, at the Kempinski Hotel, a tall and sturdy man got out of a sports car. Inspection Team Vice Captain Liang hurriedly bowed in salute. And this person was exactly the captain of the Gods Guild, Hong Bing. Entering the hotel, looking around, dignitaries were chatting cheerfully. But one person among them made a trace of doubt flash in Liang's eyes. Unexpectedly, Bai Lingsheng, who was clearly detained for 15 days, actually also appeared at the banquet scene. Liang immediately pulled Chun Jinwu aside, questioning why Bai Lingsheng was released early. Chun Jinwu rubbed his fingers and explained. Bai Lingsheng paid double bail. Moreover, everything was permitted by the captain. Vice Captain, you should just turn a blind eye. Hearing these words, Liang ground his teeth in anger. He didn't expect there to be such rap beside him. Pointing at Bai Lingsheng, he asked Chun Jinwu why he brought him to Captain Han's party. Chun Jinwu leaned over and whispered, you also know, he was kicked out of the guild just because of a small matter before. This time, with such a rare opportunity, he wants to try again. In order to re-enter the guild, he brought his family fortune. It's no big deal for us to do a convenient favor. Just as the voice fell, the magic crystal in Bai Lingsheng's arms was heavily thrown onto the ground. And Hong Bing's face at this moment also became extremely gloomy. He sternly questioned Bai Lingsheng, who let him in. This place was booked by the Gods Guild. What if an outsider dog came in and leaked military secrets? Hearing this, Bai Lingsheng's hands were already trembling incessantly, just as he wanted to open his mouth to explain with a fearful tone. He was grabbed by the collar by Hong Bing with one hand. What ability and status do you have? Daring to come by a position for me. Pick up these useless broken things of yours and get out for me. From today on, no one is allowed to let this dog join the team. Violators will be kicked out of the Gods Guild immediately. These remarks were like a sharp sword piercing through Bai Lingsheng's remaining hope. But he never felt that he was wrong in the slightest. He believed it was the heavens being unfair to him, failing to let him live a carefree and happy life. Endless anger had already made him unable to distinguish between right and wrong. He wanted to kill everyone who dared to look down on him. A lousy captain. What right did he have to humiliate him like this? The people who once abandoned him and insulted him were the targets he wanted to take revenge on. A moment later, Bai Lingsheng arrived at the residential district where Mom and I live. But unexpectedly, at this time, Mom had just finished buying groceries and walked to the district gate. Unaware, I was still eating at the barbecue shop at this moment. A group of people who just entered the shop attracted my attention. From the badges hanging on them, it wasn't hard to tell that this group of people were members of the Gods Guild. Bullcut also recognized them. He whispered to me that if I entered the Divine Weapon Academy, I would be colleagues with these people. After saying that, he sighed deeply, lamenting that he didn't expect this meal to be a farewell meal. Chi-In immediately retorted that this might not necessarily be a farewell meal. She would also work hard to test into it. Glasses immediately smoothed things over. Talk about other things later. Today is Z's birthday. Let's wish Z a happy birthday and success all the way first. But my mind wasn't on their conversation at all. Suddenly realized that today went really too smoothly. I always felt a kind of inexplicable sense of incongruity, but I really couldn't think of exactly where I hadn't paid attention. Meanwhile, Mom's hands trembled as she tightly gripped the responding jade stone on her chest, looking at the approaching Bai Lingsheng with eyes full of fear. At this moment, Bai Lingsheng erupted with terrifying, monstrous killing intent all over his body. Bitch, living quite a comfortable life behind my back, huh? Must have forgotten where home is, right? Hearing this, Mom retreated constantly. The fear rooted in her heart made her tremble all over. But Bai Lingsheng, for whom nothing was going right, how could he stop here today? Bullying the weak and fearing the strong, he would only vent his anger on people who never owed him anything. To ensure Mom isn't ambushed by the abusive father, I specially wove a floral bracelet for her self-defense. But unexpectedly, Father's combat skills were already perfection. After a few exchanges, he thoroughly killed the Wooming brothers, just as he was about to deal the killer blow to Mom. I arrived in time to block this fatal strike, deciding to personally end this ruthless thug today. It turns out not long ago, Bai Lingsheng happened to meet Mom. Looking at the floral bracelet on her wrist, he questioned sternly where these things came from. Hearing this, Mom subconsciously covered the bracelet with her hand. Her eyes became incredibly terrified, deeply afraid that Lingsheng would snatch away the gift her son gave her. But Bai Lingsheng knew nothing of this. He kept letting out a maniacal laugh, mistakenly thinking Mom had a new lover outside, that she could live in such a good house. A strong sense of defeat completely shattered his remaining self-esteem. He raised a fist the size of a sandbag and rushed towards Mom. But at this critical moment, the floral bracelet suddenly shot out emerald green light. Two afterimages rushed out from the bracelet one after another, tightly grabbing the heavy fist Bai Lingsheng threw. The afterimages were exactly the Wooming brothers who signed a contract with me back then, sworn to protect Mom's safety to the death. Seeing this, Mom's face was full of shock. She never thought the bracelet I gave her was actually a life-saving artifact. No wonder I told her that when I wasn't around. She must always wear it on her hand. At this moment, C.I. Wooming roared and charged forward. A heavy and powerful fist bombarded Bai Lingsheng, while Yi Wooming acted as support, constantly healing C.I. Wooming. At the same time, keeping an eye on whether Bai Lingsheng would sneak attack Mom. After a few rounds of exchange, Bai Lingsheng was obviously not C.I. Wooming's match. He hurriedly retreated a few steps to keep a safe distance. Blood was dripping from his chest, but Bai Lingsheng didn't feel any fear at all. As a red-quality electric warrior, he hadn't fully immersed himself in battle for a long time. And the appearance of C.I. Wooming and Yi Wooming just happened to become opponents he could vent his anger on wantonly. Meanwhile, I was chatting and eating at a barbecue shop with Chi-een and the other two. I looked at the response, jade in my hand, and fell in a deep thought. An uneasy feeling kept welling up in my heart. So I told them I had something temporary to do. I'll leave for a bit and come back soon. The barbecue money has already been paid. Just take whatever you want to eat. Leaving the barbecue shop, I came to an alley and called Hong Xiangxing, asking him if he was sure Bai Lingsheng was released early. On the other end of the phone, Hong Xiangxing confirmed Bai Lingsheng was out, and he went to his father Hong Bing's party today, but he was kicked out not long after. However, after he left the Kaibin Hotel, they didn't know where he went. Hearing this, my expression suddenly became grave. A few drops of cold sweat flowed down my cheeks. I hurriedly called Mom, but Mom's video call couldn't connect. Is the phone not with her? That Kaibin Hotel is near the neighborhood I rented. If Bai Lingsheng met Mom there at this time, this guy definitely wouldn't let it go. With his personality, it's impossible to imagine what stupid things he would do. Thinking of this, I hurriedly rode my bicycle home. Although this is all just my guess, but concerns Mom's safety. No mistakes can be allowed. Although I left the Wooming brothers by Mom's side, but their level is too low, they might not last long. The facts were just as I expected. Bai Lingsheng, who fully committed to the battle, defeated C.I. Wooming after a few rounds of exchange. Seeing this, Yi Wooming hurriedly shielded Mom behind him. His eyes were fierce, staring dead at Bai Lingsheng. But Bai Lingsheng had already seen that his main ability was healing. He could defeat him very easily. Immediately after, his eyes became strange. He found that C.I. Wooming, who was paralyzed on the ground, was tightly grabbing his leg. For existences weaker than himself, Bai Lingsheng always maintained zero tolerance. He backhandedly clamped C.I. Wooming's neck. Then he stabbed him all over with a bayonet. At this moment, in Bai Lingsheng's eyes, C.I. Wooming was Hong Bing, who made him lose face. A sandbag on which he could vent his emotions to his heart's content. The extremely violent and cruel scene filled Mom's face with fear. Her body couldn't stop trembling. Not long after, Bai Lingsheng completely finished off C.I. Wooming. His fierce gaze locked onto Mom. Radiating murderous intent, he walked over unhurriedly. Yi Wooming knew, well, he wasn't a match. Fear spread throughout his body. but he said he would protect Mom's safety to the death. Then he would definitely fight to the end. He strode forward and hugged Bai Lingsheng, activating the bind skill. At the same time, shouting loudly for Mom not to look back and run quickly. This shout made Mom's eyes wet, because I had also said this sentence. Ultimately, the goal was to keep Mom from being hurt. Mom held back her grief, turned and fled the place, knowing that only by saving herself could she not let down the Wooming brothers' self-sacrifice. At this time, Bai Lingsheng had been wrapped into a ball by vines. But unexpectedly, energy kept expanding inside the ball. In just the blink of an eye, Bai Lingsheng completely broke free from the restraints. Suddenly exerting force, he tore off Yi Wuming's limbs, then flashed to block Mom's path. Where can you run? Tell me, where else can you run? As the voice fell, Bai Lingsheng waved his hand and tore off the response jade from Mom's neck. He angrily questioned if this jade was also given by that dog of a man. Having said that, his palm exerted force and crushed the response jade to powder. Then roaring like a beast, he wanted to use the bayonet in his hand to personally pierce Mom's chest. Seeing the situation, Mom stood dazed on the spot, recalling the words I once told her. When you encounter danger, you just crush this jade pendant. The moment it shatters, I will appear by your side. The next second, I appeared in front of Mom. Barehanded, I caught the incoming bayonet. This time I didn't break my promise. I arrived in time to prevent the tragedy. I will also personally end Bai Lingsheng's atrocities in order to completely get rid of my biological father and prevent future troubles. I no longer hide the strength of my 3 awakened professions, gaining the upper hand in the first direct confrontation. Although he has rich combat experience and powerful strength, his arrogant personality is his most fatal weakness. Therefore, I have absolute confidence in completely defeating him. It turns out not long ago, I arrived in time to save Mom. Memories etched in my bones welled up in my heart. That was a tragedy I can never forget in this life. Me bound by chains, could only watch helplessly as Bai Lingsheng beat Mom continuously. Clearly a couple who supported each other in humble circumstances. But in Bai Lingsheng's eyes, there was no pity at all. The stick landed on Mom's body again and again. Watching him gather all his strength to swing another stick, I streamed with tears, screaming and begging him not to hit Mom anymore, but ultimately failed to stop the tragedy. Mom lay in a pool of blood, breathing no more. This tragedy happened on the first weekend when I was in the first year of high school. Mom took me to the amusement park for a day, but forgot to tell Bai Lingsheng, coming home only in the evening. And that day, he failed to find a job. He came back and vented all his cowardly anger on me and Mom. It was also on this day. The demon in his heart was completely released. I broke free from the chains and threw myself at Mom's side, wailing. Witnessing the whole process, I suffered huge stimulation. A second evolution began quietly. The originally green quality nuclear warrior instantly evolved into a platinum quality nuclear saint swordsman. The death of my loved one made me completely lose control. I just wanted to destroy everything around me. I untied the chains on my body, moved behind Bai Lingsheng at a speed invisible to the naked eye. In just an instant, I killed my father, the red electric assassin profession. But even so, Mom could never come back. I hated myself for not having the ability to protect Mom well. Hated myself for not doubling my efforts to break through earlier. Otherwise, this painful situation wouldn't have happened today. And now reborn, I will never be late again, not even half a step. Thinking of this, I crushed Bai Lingsheng's bayonet with my bare hands. I will never allow this damned beast to get 1 inch closer to Mom. At this time, Father's eyes were filled with thick killing intent. Roaring, he swung the bayonet at me, determined to kill both me and Mom today. Seeing this, I didn't panic at all and summoned the Kunwa blade. The skill Gawu triggered instantly, while nullifying the damage. It reflected all physical damage back to the opponent. Bai Lingsheng flew backwards like a kite with a broken string. He had to grab the ground tightly with both hands to stabilize his body. Taking his own blow caused him to vomit blood. He didn't expect his trash son to have such a reaction. But what he expected even less was the Kunwa blade he snatched back then by betraying his teammates was actually in my hands right now. At the same time, the Wooming brothers had already fully recovered thanks to their powerful regeneration abilities. Unless I die, they can resurrect infinitely. I immediately gave the order. Let the Wooming brothers look after Mom. Take her to a safe place in the back. Just leave this to me. These words also let Bai Lingsheng see the clue. It turns out the flower-type magical beasts fighting him were my summoned beasts. He didn't expect I was actually a 1 in 10,000 dual element user. Thinking of this, Bai Lingxing couldn't help laughing out loud. Awakening dual professions at such a young age. Very good. Truly worthy of being Bai Lingxing's son. Hearing this, my expression didn't move at all, because I never acknowledged him as my father. He is just a beast who can't control his emotions and likes to bully the weak. At this time, Bai Lingxing walked slowly towards me, claiming that just inheriting his talent wasn't enough, moving out without saying a word, going through the safe without his permission, even sending his own father to prison. These 3 things. He couldn't forgive any single one of them. Therefore, he didn't care what kind of talent I possessed. Today I must die in his hands. Just then, Bai Lingxing disappeared from his spot, leaving only a red lightning bolt. Mom, protected by the Wooming brothers, shouted silently upon seeing this, wanted to warn me to be careful. However, at this moment, I wasn't panicked at all. Immediately switched my profession to Cloud Mage. In an instant, the entire road in front of me was completely frozen by me. Bai Lingxing couldn't continue his raid. His face was full of confusion, not understanding where this ice came from. Did his son awaken more than just dual elements? I looked at his confused expression and walked slowly. My eyes were full of disdain. He failed the great identity of a father. Perhaps dual professions were the strongest in his cognition. I told him, how many professions I awaken has nothing to do with him, because the current him is worthless in my eyes. The father who only knew how to use violence to prove his family status was now completely crushed by me, beaten with no power to fight back. He kept kowtowing and apologizing, hoping to get my forgiveness, and promised he wouldn't hurt me and Mom again from now on. But how could I let go of this scum who takes pleasure in violence? I am determined to use this sharp blade in my hand to pronounce his death sentence. It turns out not long ago, I bluntly said Bai Lingxing was worthless in my eyes. Hearing this, Bai Lingxing let out a burst of chilling, sinister laughter, thinking I was just a fledgling who just awakened. How could I be compared to him who had fought on the battlefield? With that said, he exploded with elemental power to break free from the ice restraints. Seeing this situation, I immediately summoned the Kunlun blade, backhandedly slashed at him to launch a raid. Bai Lingxing hurriedly put his hands in front of his chest to block the attack. However, his movements were already within my expectations. While retracting the blade, I assumed the army breaker stance. The blade, like a bee's sting, stabbed straight towards Bai Lingxing's chest. Looking at the blade, piercing his chest, Bai Lingxing's face was pale. If he hadn't grabbed the handle in time, he would probably have been pierced through the heart. While thinking, I took the opportunity to withdraw the blade, causing secondary damage to him. Bai Lingxing knelt on the ground, clutching his chest. He couldn't figure out how a mere E-rank awakener could have such attack power and combat thinking. I didn't answer his doubts, looking down at this defeated opponent with extremely cold eyes. I told him, from now on, we're no longer father and son. Mom will no longer have any involvement with him. And starting from this moment, Bai Lingxing is nothing in my eyes. Hearing this, Bai Lingxing clutched his chest and let out a cold laugh. His laughter grew louder and louder, until the whole neighborhood could hear it. He raised his head and angrily questioned me. Who was it that worked hard outside to make money? Who did their best to support this family? From the moment you were born, you were already Bai Lingxing's son, a fact that will never change in a lifetime. Saying that, Bai Lingxing leaped up and grabbed at the top of my head. Wanted to teach this ungrateful, unfilial son a good lesson. I immediately jumped up on the spot and kicked him in the face. Bai Lingxing rolled on the ground like a deflated ball. He just crawled up from the ground. I had already flashed in front of him. In a moment of desperation, Bai Lingxing hurriedly threw a punch, but I easily turned my head to dodge it. At the same time, I threw a heavy punch at his face. The heavy and powerful blow made his consciousness a bit blurry, but I had no intention of stopping there. The grievances Mom and I suffered over these years, at this moment, turned into every heavy punch bombarding his body. He didn't understand. He was a red-quality electric assassin. His level even reached C-rank. Why was he beaten with no power to fight back? I took the opportunity to grab his hair tightly and gave the answer. Didn't you hear me? You're simply not my match. In the past decades, your repeated violence, using the only violence to prove your status at home, because you yourself simply dare not face people stronger than you outside. You are a weak and incompetent waste. Useless trash. You're not worthy of being a father at all. Not worthy of being an upright man. Saying that, I lifted Bai Lingxing's head with one hand, then used all my strength to smash it heavily against the ground. This was the first time Mom saw me wrapped in anger. Her eyes were full of shock and heartache. She felt that I usually gave all my gentleness to her. At this time, Bai Lingxiang, lying on the ground, made a weak sound, saying that he was the one who gave birth to and raised me after all. So I should consider family affection, shouldn't I? The words family affection made me even angrier, because he, Bai Lingxiang, is the person least qualified to talk about family affection. I angrily questioned him. Did you think about family affection when you beat me and Mom? When I was 7 years old, he pulled my ear, just like this, smashing it against the wall again and again. Helpless Mom could only keep begging him to stop. I was also constantly begging him not to hit me anymore. I would never make mistakes again. But even when my ear was torn, he still didn't stop. How many times has Mom suffered domestic violence from him over these years? For the time I was born until now. Mom has been running to the hospital every month. If the food wasn't tasty, he beat her. If it wasn't to his liking, he beat her. Even if he was unhappy himself, he came back and started domestic violence. As long as this scum is here, Mom and I haven't lived a normal day, even for once. Speaking of this, I rubbed his head against the ground again. My eyes were full of hatred. Talking about family affection with me now simply makes me sick. A scum like him simply doesn't deserve to have family affection. These words were like sharp blades piercing Bai Lingxiang with 1,000 holes. He propped up his body with difficulty. With a trembling voice, he told me sorry. He already knew he was wrong. He wouldn't be like this in the future. Hoping I could let go of him, this messy father. He kept apologizing to me, but in my opinion, he didn't know he was wrong at all. He knew he was about to die. He was like this in a previous life too. When he realized he wasn't my match, he started crying and begging for mercy and apologizing. But just when I thought he would really repent, he actually didn't hesitate to pick up a knife and rush at me. A person who has raised a butcher's knife against his closest kin will never stop just like that. Violent emotional fluctuations made my adrenaline soar. The ultimate skill, one-way Pure Land, evolved into two-way judgment at this moment. And I will also use this Kummel blade in my hand to launch the final judgment on this thug in front of me, in order to completely cut off the domestic violence father's idea of approaching Mom. I didn't hesitate to personally sever his hand tendons, but just as I was about to end his life, Mom, who had lost her voice for many years, suddenly spoke to make me stop. She didn't want to see the future me become a perpetrator. So I decisively used the ultimate skill, two-way judgment, completely depriving him of his awakening power, making him a useless person. It turns out not long ago, my ultimate skill evolved into two-way judgment. I knew well that rather than letting a sinner truly repent, it's better to make him never have the chance to commit a crime again. I immediately mobilized elemental power to wave out countless air blades, cutting Bai Lingxing's flesh continuously at extremely fast speed. But I wasn't in a hurry to kill him in one move. Instead, I severed his hand tendons so he couldn't resist. Bai Lingxiang collapsed on the ground, advising me to calm down. Give him, this father, a way to live. Hearing the word father made me even angrier. He actually still had the face to talk about family affection in front of me. I immediately switched my profession to Cloud Mage, condensing ice to seal his foul mouth. In the previous life, he had already died at my hands. So what if I do it again? But at this moment, a familiar voice suddenly came to my ears. The tone was very worried, asking me to stop. I looked around, looking for the source of the voice, because this voice came from a woman. When I moved my gaze to Mom's side, I discovered it was Yi Wuming using a sub-ability, transmitting Mom's voice to me. Mom's eyes were full of worry. She didn't wish for me to become a person like Bai Lingxiang. Bai Lingxiang has already lost everything he was proud of. Every day in the future, he will live in regret and unwillingness. This is the greatest punishment for him. Hearing this, my angry emotions gradually subsided. But Bai Lingxiang is always an unstable factor. I don't want Mom to bear even a trace of risk. Mom naturally understands everything I'm doing now is for her sake, but she doesn't want to see her lively and cheerful son become the next Bai Lingxiang. Even more, she doesn't want to see the future me, living only in darkness. In the previous life, I was sent to prison after killing Bai Lingxiang. Looking at the bright sunshine outside the iron bars, my heart was filled with emotion. Although I didn't regret the decision I made, But a voice in my heart told me this was the wrong answer. And now I finally know what the correct answer is. I promised Mom I wouldn't kill Bai Lingsheng, but he will never have the chance to approach us again. I immediately mobilized elemental power to enchant the surface of the sharp blade. The ultimate skill two-way judgment was swung out fiercely, used when the enemy is in a near-death state. Releasing all accumulated power can completely cripple a same-level or lower-level enemy. In an instant, a cross-slash landed on by Lingsheng with a bang. Wisps of red energy could be seen dissipating from his body. Thus, I abolished Bai Lingsheng's awakening power. From now on, he is no longer a professional. I told him to leave this city tomorrow. Leave Mom forever. Before this, I had already let Yi Wuming memorize his scent. If he comes within 3 kilometers of Mom, even if I have to stay in the Awakener prison for a lifetime, I will immediately come and kill him without mercy. Hearing this, Bai Lingsheng looked at the night sky with hollow eyes, promising he wouldn't disturb me and Mom from now on. Subsequently, Mom and I returned home. C.I. Wuming acted as a nanny and started cleaning carefully, while I let Yi Wuming heal Mom's injuries. C.I. Wuming, who was cleaning, immediately winked at me, indicating that Bai Lingsheng didn't hurt our Mom even once. I breathed a sigh of relief and squatted beside Mom. Fortunately, I arrived in time, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. Mom smiled gently and told me she was fine. No one will disturb our life in the future. But I was still a bit worried. I'll have to find a way to get another jade later. While thinking, I suddenly showed a shocked look. Mom's face also suddenly showed a strange expression. Mom, who had lost her voice for many years, actually spoke just now. This time, it wasn't a mental voice, but a voice that truly came from her mouth. It turns out this is all Yi Wuming's credit. He found that Mom's language system malfunction was actually caused by nerve damage from being hit later in life. So he healed it. In the following days, I continued to work hard to improve myself. Yi Wuming asked me if I really couldn't stay here. Leaving this time means really saying goodbye to Mom and friends. I nodded with a faint smile. The rent for the house has been paid in advance. When I earn enough money, I will buy that house. Also prepared a new jade pendant for Mom. Even if there's a crisis again, I will arrive at the first moment. It's just that for most other times, I'll have to rely on the Wuming brothers to take good care of her. Although Mom knows I'm going on a training journey. But what she doesn't know is, I am no longer the me in her mind. I carry the hatred that I must face. Now I have got the ticket to the Saint He Kingdom. That guy is right there. This is my best chance for revenge. I can reach the Saint He Kingdom earlier than in my previous life. But I don't know whether I will succeed or whether I can come back alive. Maybe this is just a one-way ticket with no return. But I must get on this train. At this time, Mom suddenly showed a shocked expression. I hurriedly asked her what was wrong. Mom explained to me that it was time for prayer. On the first full moon of the summer vacation every year, the great mage of the Flower God Temple will return to Chushire County. Hearing this, I recalled, Mom is a devout believer of the Flower God sect. She never asked, and I never told her. Tomorrow is the day of my departure. But this is also good. I'll just leave quietly, because what I am least good at is saying goodbye face to face. In order to kill the betrayer in the cradle completely, I participated in the training journey and started looking for his whereabouts. I thought I would embark on a lonely road of revenge. But unexpectedly, Mom and friends came specially to see me off, wishing me a safe and smooth journey, fearing no wind or rain. At this moment, I understood that my life isn't just about revenge. I will do my utmost to resolve everything and return as soon as possible to reunite with my important people. It turns out that not long ago, I decided to leave for the Saint He Kingdom without saying goodbye. At the same time, Four Eyes also successfully finished his minimally invasive surgery. The doctor exclaimed that it was fortunate the problem was discovered in time, preventing the condition from worsening. Four Eyes' parents held the doctor's hand, thanking him profusely for saving their son's life. But Four Eyes looked full of worry at this moment because his parents forced him to come for this minor surgery today. And tomorrow, I am heading to the Saint He Kingdom with Chi Yin. In his current state, he couldn't make it to see me off. He didn't know if there would be a chance to meet again in the future. In the blink of an eye, the next day arrived. The students invited on the training journey gathered at the Saint He special train platform. At the moment of parting, Chi Yin's mother was already crying a river. She told Chi Yin to remember to call her often. When she saw the father, she told him to stay up late less. After nagging about everything, she didn't forget to kiss Chi Yin on the cheek. This mushy scene left the teacher dumbfounded. She told the parents they could go back now. This training trip was just for a visit, and they would be back in half a month. She told them not to act like it was a life-and-death separation. Soon after, the parents bid farewell to their children and left the platform one by one. This was the first time these youths had left their parents' protection to go out and experience different scenery. I, however, had arrived at the platform early to wait. Teacher Huang walked over and asked why I came alone. Did my mom and dad not come to see me off? I didn't answer this question. With a calm expression, I muttered to myself that the car should be arriving soon. This surprised Teacher Huang and Qiyin. They didn't expect that I had always been used to being so independent. Hearing this, my thoughts drifted. Indeed, I had become accustomed to independence very early on, and I had long been used to living alone. Memories of my past life inadvertently flooded my heart again. Actually, I wasn't born loving solitude. The first time I experienced a life-and-death separation, I hugged my mother's cold body and cried bitterly. But the bad news didn't stop there. My best friend, Four Eyes, because of late-stage lung cancer, passed away before he could even finish the surgery he was sent in for. It seemed like heaven's punishment for me. The master who raised me as his own son also left this world shortly after I became an adult. While I became the world's strongest warrior, I was backstabbed and watched helplessly as my teammates died. Loved ones, they left me one by one. My entire life has been spent experiencing partings. Unknowingly, I had become used to it, indifferently accepting the loss of everything. At this moment, Teacher Huang reminded everyone to prepare to board the train. My drifting thoughts were pulled back. I haven't gotten used to the feeling of possessing things again. Once I step on the train, I don't know if I'll be able to come back and see them again. Just then, someone behind me suddenly shouted my name loudly. With a mix of apprehension and anticipation, I turned my head to look. Unexpectedly, it was Four Eyes, Bowl Cut, and Mom. Bowl Cut complained to me that Four Eyes' parents were watching him strictly. If this guy hadn't threatened to die, insisting I smuggle him out, I would have been at the station this morning. Hearing this, I looked at Four Eyes. I told him he should be resting properly in the hospital. Four Eyes patted his chest and told me he was doing great now. Then, looking at me with distress, he urged me to take good care of myself over there. At this moment, Bowl Cut handed me a bunch of things. Because time was tight and he couldn't choose a gift, he just picked out some clothes for me and got some food. Qiyin smiled, gently watching this heartwarming scene. She could tell I didn't like solitude at all. I just didn't know how to express these feelings. Mom also prepared a gift for me. This bracelet was something she specially prayed for the Flower God Temple. She said it was very effective. She also hoped there would be something to protect me. Just like the flower bracelet I gave her. I held the bracelet, feeling a myriad of emotions. So Mom went to the Flower God Temple to pray for me. Did she know I was planning to leave for a long time this time? While I was pondering, Teacher Huang urged everyone to hurry up and board. The train was about to depart. I walked into the train under the gaze of my mother and friends. Thinking back on the months since I returned, I have changed a lot. My closest friends and family, their lives have changed. Now, in the hometown I love deeply, there are people silently waiting for my return. I secretly swore that I would resolve everything as quickly as possible and return early to reunite with them. Subsequently, the train left the platform and headed for the destination, Saint He Kingdom. A man on a high building spoke to himself. He has also safely boarded the train. He will arrive in the Saint He Kingdom before long. The item was successfully transferred to his hand. Is there anything else to instruct? This person was none other than Lu Zhongjiang, the sect master of the Flower God Temple. He is a gold-quality S-Rank synthesizer. Upon his return, he received a mission to successfully deliver that bracelet to my hand. At this moment, I was looking at the map and listening to Teacher Huang's introduction. The ultimate school team and the captain's train were one shift earlier than ours. They went ahead to handle the sea crossing procedures. Soon, the train would arrive at the Jiang country border, and opposite that is the Saint He Kingdom. This training journey officially starts now. Entering the Saint He Kingdom takes one day. According to tradition, we will stay at the border tonight and conduct a field training exercise. And Ziling, who is on the same train as me, will launch his revenge against me during the border training. A novice warrior participating in field combat training for the first time. Yet, because of his handsome face, the senior girls love him endlessly. Everyone thinks I'm just a vase, good-looking but useless. Little do they know that the D-rank monsters the high school section can't deal with. I can kill with just one slash. It turns out that not long ago, I learned that field training would take place today. Teacher Huang told us that God created this world, and God has always protected us. The family founded by God possesses supreme power. Two gods and their families have lived in the Saint He kingdom since ancient times. She urged us that after entering, we must strictly abide by God's laws and absolutely never get into trouble. And for us to enter the Saint He kingdom from Jiang country, we need to pass 3 checkpoints. The first checkpoint was passing the mock test held by the school. Only by getting the Saint He kingdom invitation pass are you qualified to sit on this train. The second checkpoint is at the Jiang country border. Everyone needs to register their information and undergo a comprehensive security check. Checking everyone's information usually takes a day. Therefore, we can only enter the next day. So, the next day will be the first stop of this training journey, combat training. After completing the information check, everyone arrived at the wasteland area along the Jiang country border to begin training. I also changed into the new clothes prepared by Bowl Cut. I look much more mature. My appearance instantly attracted the attention of 2 senior girls. They recognized me as the little boy who refused the ultimate school team's invitation. They immediately came over to get close to me. They knew my name is ZE and that I got the highest score in history in this 3rd-year combat assessment. They hoped to team up with them for the upcoming combat training. Seeing this, I immediately waved my hand to decline. Women will only affect the speed at which I become stronger. Unexpectedly, my refusal made them think I was cute. After observing the surrounding environment, I concluded that the monster levels in the wasteland area were too low. They were of little use for professional level advancement. Moreover, after reaching C rank, leveling up becomes increasingly difficult. I must find a way to find higher level monsters. At this time, Senior Zhang Jun found the 2 senior girls who had just hit on me. He boasted that he also took first place back in the day. Dealing with sealed monsters in school assessments was nothing special. Monsters in reality were completely different. After saying that, he pretended to inadvertently put his arm around one of the seniors. He stated that only field combat could show true skill. The 2 seniors knew about this school honk. He is a red quality C rank Galaxy Warrior. They invited him to team up to face the combat training together. Zhang Jun agreed immediately without thinking. His proud laughter echoed in everyone's ears, as if showing off his spoils of war. A moment later, Teacher Huang gathered everyone to start the lecture. Those who could come on this training trip were the most elite students of the school. Although emphasized many times on the train, I still have to reiterate. During combat training, remember to train within the designated area. Absolutely do not go too far. Try to avoid acting alone. Act according to your ability when encountering monsters. Gather at the campsite at 8 p.m. Before she could finish the rules, Li Jun had already pulled the 2 seniors away from the group. He didn't want to waste a single second of this rare opportunity to farm in the wild. Seeing this, Ziling's face in the crowd was very gloomy. He couldn't stand anyone showing off in front of him. Therefore, he didn't mind teaching another guy who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth a lesson during this combat training. Meanwhile, inside the Saint He kingdom, Hong Bing and the ultimate school team arrived at the Gods Guild headquarters. The guards immediately bowed respectfully to him, stating that the hunting assembly was about to begin and the God's security team captain was already waiting in the conference room. Seeing this scene, the vice captain of the ultimate school team sighed softly. Having privileges is really different. We came on the same train as the captain and didn't even have to pass through checkpoints the whole way. At this time, Hong Bing glanced at Hong Qiangxing beside him and told him to go directly to the team and wait for him. Hong Qiangxing, who had always been domineering, was now as obedient as a kitten. He never dared to refuse his father's orders. On the other side, the combat training officially began. Li Jun relied on the advantage of his profession quality and level. All E-rank monsters couldn't last 2.5 seconds in his hands. He also garnered praise and screams from the 2 seniors because of this. I, however, was not in a hurry to kill monsters to gain experience. I looked at my data panel and fell into deep thought. Up until now, my 3 professions have all been upgraded to C rank. Flower Summoner, level 21, C rank, X 350. To gain experience, one must defeat monsters of a level greater than or equal to one's own. But the monsters I can come into contact with in the Jiang Country Demon Cave right now are at most D rank. The monsters scattered in the wild wasteland area are low-level monsters that even the guild is too lazy to manage. Killing monsters lower than my own level yields almost no benefit. While I was thinking, a D-rank 8-foot spider suddenly appeared. Its sharp spider claws instantly cut Li Jun's palm. Seeing their carry fall, the faces of the two seniors were full of panic. They thought a monster of this level was not something they could deal with. Li Jun was a bit annoyed seeing they didn't care about him. He roared for the two to come and help him detoxify first. After all, this 8-foot spider was a wild one, a completely unsealed D-rank form. Naturally, it was impossible to kill it easily. Just then, the 8-foot spider suddenly changed direction and pounced towards me. A young man exploring the depths of the wasteland jungle alone. I thought I could collect some useful materials to break through my level. Unexpectedly, the campsite suffered a monster raid, and this extremely dangerous monster had reached B rank. It turned out that not long ago, the 8-foot spider suddenly lunged at me. Seeing this, I killed it instantly with a backhand slash. It dropped the material item, toxic spider leg, but this kind of low-level material would occupy inventory space. Discard item. It's basically useless to me, and the high-level monsters are all controlled by the Gods Guild. That's why everyone says the distance between C and B is the difference between heaven and earth. But fortunately, I still remember. In the wasteland area of the Saint He Kingdom border, some high-level magic crystals were dug up later. Going deeper to take a look might yield some useful materials. Time reached 7:58 p.m. I had been searching inside the wasteland jungle for a long time. I really found quite a few magic crystals. But strangely, magic crystals contain a large amount of energy inside. Usually, they're born in places with many demons and monsters. But the magic power in the magic crystals here is withered, and it seems to have just been absorbed not long ago. And the suspicious points don't stop there. These big trees in front of me are also weird. It's like their nutrients were sucked dry. There should be some monster hovering nearby that can quickly absorb surrounding energy. But the highest level monster in the wasteland area is only D rank. Is there really one capable of doing this to such an extent? A moment later, I walked to the deepest part of the jungle. A waterfall ahead blocked the way. On the road, I could still see many scattered magic crystals. I lowered my head and looked around to see if I could find subtle clues. 2.5 minutes later, I found a broken glass bottle not far away. The scattered green liquid was unknown, but when I saw Zifeng Industrial written on it, I immediately felt that something bad would happen tonight. Meanwhile, at the campsite, Teacher Huang had already set up a bonfire and started grilling. The students were dumbfounded seeing this. They didn't expect the teacher to have killed so many D-rank monsters alone. Teacher Huang casually handed the grilled meat skewers to the students. She told everyone that combat training is a field simulation. Finding food is also an important part of survival in the wild. Today, the vast majority of students were trying their best to kill monsters. Not many people considered this. Looking at the handed-over roast meat, the students were a bit speechless. They didn't expect the training journey to be so stingy, not even preparing food. Dinner time, Teacher Huang looked left and right, constantly paying attention to the student status. She found that only Ziling and I hadn't returned to the camp. She decided to save some more roast meat for when we returned. Qin couldn't help but sigh. She always thought Teacher Huang only taught theory. She didn't expect her to be so proficient in actual combat, too. Teacher Huang smiled faintly and explained that she couldn't be called proficient. Before she became a teacher, her dream was to enter the Gods Guild or even become a saint. Speaking of this, Teacher Huang's face showed a bit of sorrow. Unfortunately, her ability wasn't enough. She didn't even have the chance to take the exam. Then she leaned into Qi Yin's ear and whispered, "I'll tell you quietly. This is actually my first time going to the Saint He Kingdom too. Teacher has to thank you guys properly. Thanks to you and Ze, Teacher has this opportunity to visit the dreamed of Holy Land." Hearing this, Qi Yin was just about to speak, completely failing to notice the danger hidden in the dark night. But Teacher Huang sensed something was wrong. She yanked Qi Yin behind her with one hand, and the incoming spike instantly pierced her chest. The originally silent night was broken at this moment. This sudden situation made all the students panic-stricken. Meanwhile, I was rushing towards the campsite at full speed. I didn't expect to encounter this kind of monster here. I must hurry to notify everyone to leave this place. The danger of that monster is not something we can control. At this time, teacher Huang endured the pain and pulled out the spike from her chest. She told the students to hurry and find the nearest guild team. She would stay here to stall it. The monster hidden in the darkness suddenly appeared. It was a corpse mantis spider with a level as high as B rank. I exposed my multi-class identity in front of everyone for the first time. When the corpse mantis spider broke into the camp to turn everyone into nutrients, I didn't hesitate to switch to the cloud mage profession. Relying on newly comprehended skills, I successfully repelled it. And the instigator of this terrorist attack turned out to be the senior who wanted me dead back then. It turned out that not long ago, the campsite was raided by the corpse mantis spider. Time rewinds to the morning after the field combat training began. Ziling came to the interior of the wasteland area alone and sneakily. The glass bottle he held in his hand was exactly the same as the one I found in the depths of the jungle. The B-rank corpse mantis spider was brought by him, all for the sake of revenge against me for stealing his thunder back then. He released the corpse mantis spider into the wild, allowing this extremely dangerous monster to frantically absorb nutrients and grow. And his plan was to wait until the corpse mantis spider made everyone wretched, then make his dazzling entrance, letting everyone know who the real savior is. Unexpectedly, the plan developed into an uncontrollable situation. This cowardly waste didn't dare to show his face at all. He couldn't understand. Clearly less than a day had passed, yet the corpse mantis spider's growth speed far exceeded his expectations. If he rashly went forward and angered this monster, he would definitely die. At this time, the corpse mantis spider revealed a hideous face, staring dead at everyone. Although teacher Huang is only a C-rank cloud mage, she still resolutely stood at the very front. Even knowing she was no match for the monster, she wanted to create a chance for the students to escape as much as possible. Meanwhile, I was speeding up and sprinting towards the campsite. In my past life, I once encountered an S-rank corpse mantis spider. At that time, even after I had advanced, it took a lot of effort to defeat it. This guy is both offense and defense, and is good at hiding. It is an all-rounder in individual combat power. The students and teacher remaining here are at most C rank. They absolutely cannot win against a B rank version of it. I definitely can't defeat it without using my full strength now. But if I use it, it means everyone will know the fact that I possess multiple professions. This might attract even more attention from the gods. In just an instant, it injured all the awakened ones who reached C-rank strength, leaving them on the ground. Teacher Huang collapsed on the ground, weak all over. Her face was full of unwillingness and resentment. She hadn't expected the corpse mantis spider's attack to actually carry a paralysis effect. Now, they didn't even have the strength to run. They were reduced to lambs waiting to be slaughtered, watching the corpse mantis spider constantly approaching the injured students on the ground. Teacher Huang forced herself to stay calm, looking for a way to break the deadlock. But these few short seconds couldn't change the current situation at all. The released corpse mantis spider only wanted to feast right now, constantly absorbing nutrients to strengthen itself. And the first target it chose was class monitor Chi-In. Danger approached Chi-In step by step. But Chi-In, who was also paralyzed, was powerless to fight back. What awaited her seemed to be only death. In the nick of time, several ice spikes suddenly smashed toward the corpse mantis spider's face. Teacher Huang used up her last bit of strength to call upon elemental power to condense ice and launch an attack. She absolutely would not allow this monster to touch her students. But this painless attack had no effect at all. Instead, it thoroughly enraged the corpse mantis spider. It changed targets, deciding to start with her first. A man-eating flower suddenly extended from the top of the corpse mantis spider's head. It opened its bloody mouth, revealing hideous and sharp teeth. Without any hesitation, it lunged at teacher Huang to kill her. Just then, a slash accurately intercepted this fatal blow. I finally arrived at the camp and flashed in front of teacher Huang. I immediately activated a skill to block and withstand the incoming sharp blade. And seizing the opening, I chopped off the man-eating flower on top of the corpse mantis spider's head. Seeing this situation, a trace of shock flashed in the corpse mantis spider's eyes. Possessing intelligence, it hadn't expected that the white-haired boy in front of it could actually exchange a few blows with it, and even not fall into a disadvantage at all. While thinking, the corpse mantis spider roared angrily and launched a new round of attacks. I knew a C-rank warrior's attack power was still a bit lacking against it, so I immediately switched to the Cloud Mage profession. I have to control it first before thinking of a way to kill it. In an instant, holding a staff, I burst out with majestic elemental power fluctuations. The new skill Frost Ice Explosion shot out immediately, freezing a large amount of water vapor instantly, creating a massive amount of ice out of thin air to freeze everything in front. In almost the blink of an eye, the corpse mantis spider was frozen into an ice sculpture. The monster that left everyone helpless and hopeless stopped moving at this moment. The noisy night became quiet again. The two seniors who had invited me to team up earlier were dumbfounded. They never expected I could freeze a B-rank monster, but they clearly remembered I should be a nuclear warrior. School Hunkley June looked at me with a face full of shock, uneasily asking if I was a dual-class user. I didn't respond to this. Even if exposed, there was no other way. I ultimately couldn't just watch them die here, especially Teacher Huang, who had helped me quite a lot. At this time, Teacher Huang got up and walked behind me. She didn't care if I was a dual-class user. She cared about whether I was injured just now. The hard ice freezing the corpse mantis spider began to crack gradually at this moment. Its eyes filled with intense hatred stared dead at me. It let out a low growl telling me to just wait. The next second, the corpse mantis spider completely broke free from the restraints and disappeared from everyone's sight. The students in panic looked around, asking me if that monster would appear again. I calmly stated that the matter wasn't over. I injured it just now. It should hide temporarily to heal. It might appear again. With my current strength, it's not enough to kill it. The urgent task is for everyone to evacuate quickly while we can. But Teacher Huang suddenly said she wanted to stay because Zi Ling hadn't returned yet. Hearing this, my expression became a bit subtle. It seems everyone still doesn't know who the culprit is. And Teacher Huang's reason for waiting for Zi Ling to return was also simple. As a teacher, however many students she brought out, she had to bring that many back. We agreed to gather at the campsite at 8. If he comes back and sees no one, he would likely think everyone abandoned him. Hearing this, I took out that broken glass bottle. I told everyone that the corpse mantis spider was released by him. The boy disregarded his own safety to save all his classmates and teachers. Yet now he doesn't hesitate to draw his blade and sever a classmate's arm. Just because after this guy thoroughly exposed his own crimes, he actually planned to secretly poison everyone to eliminate future trouble. His actions, in my view, are exactly the same as the dreadlocks guy who backstabbed my teammates in my past life. And betrayers are existences that can absolutely never be forgiven in my eyes. It turned out that not long ago, I revealed that the corpse mantis spider was Zi Ling's handiwork. The glass bottle was labeled with the 4 words Zifeng Industrial. It is precisely the industry of Principal Ziqing's family. Qi suddenly realized. She remembered her father once chatting with her. Zifeng Industrial is currently managed by Ziling's father. I continue to introduce to everyone. Zifeng Industrial's laboratory specializes in researching monsters. And this glass bottle also has a specific term. It's called a shrink body bottle. This special bottle stores a large number of shrunken monsters. I found fragments of this shrink body bottle in the depths of the jungle. Apart from people of the Zifeng Industrial family, no one has the opportunity to touch this thing. At this moment, Zi Ling was hiding in the dark, secretly observing, silently listening to me reveal his crimes. Unwilling to accept this, he fiercely punched the big tree beside him. He cursed himself inwardly for not throwing the bottle into the river back then. But in the end, he blamed all the problems on me. If I hadn't performed too outstandingly, how could he possibly have brought the monster here? Every time, I ruined his good deeds. I stole all the limelight in front of him. Otherwise, how could he possibly have such extreme thoughts? And the classmates were currently condemning his behavior. Someone like him should stay in prison for a lifetime. After hearing these words, Zi Ling was already furious. Today, he was going to keep everyone here. Just then, Teacher Huang spoke up to interrupt everyone's discussion. The urgent task now was still to leave as soon as possible. She told Qi to take this radio distress equipment, go to a place with a signal, and dial to wait for rescue. She took the radio with a hesitant expression. Just as she wanted to persuade Teacher Huang to leave with everyone, unexpected to her, a light arrow suddenly struck. It directly shot and exploded the radio in her hand. This sudden situation made my nerves tense up again. Teacher Huang hurriedly came over to check Qi Yin's condition, not knowing if this attack was from the corpse mantis spider that escaped just now. I looked at the completely destroyed radio on the ground, and Qi Yin's trembling hand that was still bleeding endlessly. Angry emotions instantly spread throughout my body. I didn't expect that guy to still be unrepentant even now. He actually planned to attack everyone. At this moment, a smoke grenade quietly arrived in the middle of the crowd. The pungent smoke made the students cough incessantly. They discovered that there was actually the smell of paralysis powder in this smoke. And Ziling had already changed into a gas mask and was walking toward the crowd. I looked down at the smoke grenade on the ground. Sure enough, it also had the Ziefeng industrial trademark on it. A bad memory immediately flooded into my mind. Back then, the dreadlocked guy was responsible for our squad's 3 meals a day. The small wontons he made were loved by everyone. Even I, who strictly managed my weight on weekdays, couldn't help but eat 2 extra bowls. This made the dreadlocks guy often tease me about controlling my food intake, saying he wouldn't look at me if I got fat, just when I thought happy days had finally come to me. I never imagined it was all the dreadlocks guy's scheme. In the past month's breakfasts, he had mixed in paralysis powder, all to ensure he could successfully kill everyone. And now Ziling's behavior, in my eyes, is exactly the same as the dreadlocks guy who backstabbed his teammates. By now, Ziling has gone completely mad, blaming all the guilt on me, claiming I caused everyone to know he did it, that I caused everyone to be unable to leave. Hearing this, I exploded with elemental power, taking a few steps forward to question this crazy bastard. Did he really intend to put everyone to death? As the paralysis smoke continued to spread through the woods, most students couldn't even stand. They still couldn't understand. It was clearly a B-rank item used against magical beasts. Why would Ziling, this madman, use it on classmates who had no grudge against him? These words were like thorns piercing Ziling's heart. He explained furiously. These were originally meant to deal with that corpse mantis spider. I was supposed to run out and save everyone. If you want to blame someone, blame this damn Bai. It's all because of him that you have to stay and be buried with him. If he hadn't sabotaged things, how would I have been driven to this point? After speaking, Ziling aimed his bow and arrow at my head, but I didn't show the slightest fear, approaching him with slow steps. At this moment, Teacher Huang walked behind me, kindly advising Ziling to stop now, while there was still time, not to make mistake after mistake. Hearing this, Ziling's desire for revenge wavered slightly. Seeing this, Teacher Huang continued to persuade him. You released a monster by accident, right? You didn't intentionally put everyone in danger, right? Turn back now, it's not too late. Hearing this, Ziling immediately aimed his longbow at Teacher Huang, speaking in a panicked and fierce tone, saying it was too late. Everything was irreversible now. Don't think about tricking him into going back to face judgment. During the conversation, Teacher Huang realized she couldn't move at all. She didn't expect the B-rank paralysis powder to be so strong. At this rate, she would pass out too. Just then, I backhandedly stabbed my blade into my thigh to stay awake. This radical approach shocked Teacher Huang greatly. Ziling's actions, in my view, were already irreversible. No matter how much grievance he faced, no matter what messy excuses he had, the gun should never be aimed at one's own people. As the voice fell, Ziling pulled the bowstring and fired an arrow of light. The adrenaline in my body soared at this moment. I immediately swung my blade to cut down the incoming arrow. The skill flash step activated immediately, bringing me in front of Ziling. Without any hesitation, I swung another slash. Ziling's left hand holding the bowstring was instantly severed. The intense pain made him let out a wail. But I wouldn't stop there, because traitors can never be forgiven. To prevent the senior from harming me in the future, the boy didn't hesitate to use a killing move to abolish his awakening ability. But just as I intended to kill him to prevent future trouble, the magical beast I had injured earlier suddenly attacked. But having been in a paralyzed state for a long time, I couldn't fight at all, just as everyone's lives hung by a thread. My teammate from my past life arrived on the battlefield in time. With just one slash, she inflicted heavy injuries on the magical beast. It turns out that not long ago, I personally severed Ziling's arm, and then slashed his chest with another cut. The piercing pain made Ling collapse to the ground, with no strength to resist or flee. He cursed me for being an out-and-out madman, claiming it was me who put everyone in danger. If my performance hadn't been so dazzling before, how would he have had the idea to smash the pot and go for broke? I listened to this crazy theory and asked calmly, "So you've been hiding here the whole time, right?" Watching helplessly as the disaster gradually unfolded. Watching helplessly as the disaster you created yourself became uncontrollable and hard to end. Hearing this, Ling fell into deep thought, recalling his actions. He indeed had been hiding in the dark, afraid to show his face, letting the corpse mantis spider wreak havoc in the camp. Even seeing everyone gradually losing ground and becoming food, he never had the thought of stepping in to save them. Thinking of this, tears flowed from Ling's moist eyes. He hid because he was afraid. Afraid he couldn't beat the corpse mantis spider, hoping I could understand his weakness. As soon as the voice fell, I didn't hesitate to swing another blade at him. Ling covered his bleeding mouth in disbelief. He couldn't believe I would be so decisive. At this moment, a terrifying thought echoed in his mind. Ling tried to force his body to move. He had to escape here as soon as possible. Because he realized I really intended to kill him, I aimed the blade at him. Since the decision was made, the consequences must be borne. After speaking, I raised the Kunmul blade in my hand high. The killing move, judgment of the two directions, was released immediately, pouring out all the accumulated power. Countless slashes hit accurately every part of Ling's body. Heart-tearing screams echoed in the jungle. There was no sympathy on my face, because this is the fate a traitor deserves. I raised the blade high again. My body erupted with terrifying elemental fluctuations. The next slash would definitely complete the kill, and Ling, having lost his awakening ability, was a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, unable to escape from my eyes. His severed mouth tried hard to make faint sounds for help. But who would save this damn traitor? Just as I was about to swing the blade to send him on his final journey, the teacher's loud shout calling for Chi-In suddenly came to my ears. Turning my head, I realized that the corpse mantis spider that had been repelled earlier had quietly attacked. The man-eating flower on its head was swallowing Chi-In. I instantly felt things were bad. I didn't expect this guy to start moving again. I had to temporarily let Ling go and solve the biggest threat, the corpse mantis spider, first. But under the effect of the paralysis powder, my mobility was greatly discounted. Maybe even if I used my full strength now, I couldn't defeat it. But at this point, there was no other way. Now I was the only one with a chance to save everyone. At the critical moment, a golden electric current suddenly appeared in the jungle. I looked over and my eyes were immediately filled with disbelief, because the corpse mantis spider's man-eating flower was completely destroyed by the electricity. Chi-In, whose life was hanging by a thread, escaped the fate of being swallowed. And on the body of the corpse mantis spider, there was a clearly visible thunder slash mark. And the reinforcement who came to support was all too familiar to everyone. It was the leader of the ultimate school squad, Hilu, a gold-quality electric assassin class. The corner of her mouth hooked into a faint smile as she turned to look at me. This monster is a bit hard to deal with alone, right? Can you still fight? Hearing this, I stood frozen in place. I never expected to meet Hilu again at this moment. But with her support, the injured corpse mantis spider before us was not invincible. But just then, the corpse mantis spider's figure suddenly vanished from a spot. I immediately explained to Hilu, this guy has the ability to change color. After I cut it earlier, it went invisible and hid. Hearing this, Hilu didn't answer, but noticed the wound on my leg. To avoid being paralyzed, I had stabbed my thigh with a blade to stay awake. I mistakenly thought Hilu was worried about the others, so I explained it's because the effect of the paralysis powder kicked in. They will sleep for a while, but are fine. At this moment, Hilu threw a bottle of recovery potion to me, marveling that I could hold on for so long. She told me to use this purification water to heal first. The Divine Guild team is on their way, but we don't know when they'll arrive. As she spoke, I had already drunk the purification water and explained that the corpse mantis spider was absorbing the surrounding nutrients. As the voice fell, a sharp blade attacked from behind me at extreme speed. But having recovered my stamina, I could react quickly. I countered with a backhand slash to parry and neutralize the damage. At the same time, Hilu had already circled behind the corpse mantis spider. Under the double attack from me and Hilu, the corpse mantis spider found it hard to fight two foes with four hands. In the first round of exchange, it clearly fell into a disadvantage. Hilu stood firm and clicked her tongue in wonder. She didn't expect the corpse mantis spider to recover so fast. She asked if I could still continue fighting. I smiled calmly and nodded slightly, signaling to complete a perfect team cooperation. To kill the infinitely evolving corpse mantis spider, I disregarded my own safety and launched a fierce charge at it. But instead, I was pierced through the chest by the corpse mantis spider's blade. However, all this was within my plan. The ultimate goal was to induce it to lower its guard, allowing my teammate to take this opportunity to completely break its defense. It turns out that not long ago, Hilu arrived in time to resolve the crisis. Relying on my understanding of her and her combat habits from my past life, the storm-like offense left the corpse mantis spider unable to resist. I had to praise Lee's attack reactions as excellent, but she is still a student after all. I reminded her to remember safety first. Hilu smiled beautifully, listening to me as if I weren't a student myself. During the conversation, the corpse mantis spider stood firm again. Its fierce eyes locked onto me and Hilu, determined to tear us to pieces and devour us completely. Seeing this, I immediately drew my sword and activated the skill flash step to rush over. And Hilu circled behind it again to launch a surprise attack. But the feedback from the slash made me frown. In an instant, the corpse mantis spider raised another sharp claw to attack me. I subconsciously twisted my body to dodge. But unexpectedly, the corpse mantis spider backhanded me away. Hilu, on the right side, saw this and instantly launched a raid. The blade condensing violent electric elements swung down fiercely. But Hilu's expression also became slightly puzzled, surprisingly finding that her attack was completely neutralized and blocked by the corpse mantis spider this time. I hurriedly shouted for her to be careful, but was too late. The corpse mantis spider's sharp claw covered in barbs cut Hilu's chest. The huge impact instantly knocked Hilu back dozens of meters. Although it didn't cause serious damage, the corpse mantis spider's attack carried poison. Just then, I activated the skill flash step to appear in front of her. Holding the blade in reverse, I blocked the corpse mantis spider's claw. At the same time, I discovered the corpse mantis spider's defense had reached the level of a top B rank warrior. Even Hilu's super high burst attack couldn't hurt it. And what was worse, this guy, the corpse mantis spider, had been absorbing the nutrients here, which meant it was constantly getting stronger. Both its strength and intelligence were evolving. If this trend continued, Hilu and I wouldn't even last until the guild team arrived. Moreover, our current strength was only C rank. Hilu also couldn't maintain her peak state due to injury. So we had to break the corpse mantis spider's defense as quickly as possible, and I'd already thought of a countermeasure in my mind. I once asked my teammates what to do if we encountered an evenly matched or even stronger enemy during battle and fell into a stalemate. Han Xiaopiao joked that we should turn around and retreat immediately. Hilu believed the Divine Core had no option to retreat, but she couldn't think of a good method either. I then introduced the topic, teaching them what the rat bait plan is. First, as the captain, I would attack the enemy with full force, focusing all the enemy's firepower on me. When the enemy is successfully attracted, they will put all their energy into the offense and defense before them. And we just need to wait for the opportunity. But just then, seeing my action, Hilu subconsciously circled behind the corpse mantis spider. I hurriedly shouted for her not to attack. Just stay there and accumulate power. Hearing this, Hilu immediately stopped in place. She didn't expect I intended to deal with a magical beast alone. She naturally knew this behavior was too risky. A slight carelessness could cost my life. Even if I was outstanding, I was just a C-rank green warrior, just a student. As a gold profession holder, Hilu realized that I had been commanding the battle the whole time, and she would unconditionally execute the orders I gave. In comparison, I was more like the leader controlling the whole situation. I condensed all my power into my right hand and swung the blade fiercely. However, the corpse mantis spider just waved its hand casually and knocked the sharp blade out of my hand. What followed was its sharp claw instantly piercing my chest. Seeing this scene, Healy's face suddenly turned pale. She shouted my name loudly, hoping to get a response. Avoiding the vital points, I raised my arm and waved at her continuously. Healy's expression froze. She realized my meaning was for her not to move. She seemed to guess the reason why I disregarded my own safety to launch an attack alone. At this time, the corpse mantis spider also noticed He-Lu frozen in place. But having succeeded in revenge, it didn't put He-Lu in its eyes, thinking humans would eventually just become its food. The man-eating flower on its head bloomed again, deciding to completely devour me now. But it was completely unaware that it had long fallen into my trap. I opened my mouth and took a deep breath, shouting with the loudest voice for He-Lu to act now. He-Lu had long accumulated power. Activating the skill, Flash God. Electricity infused her whole body, instantly increasing movement speed by 10 times. And I had discovered it before. The previous times the corpse mantis spider was injured were when it was devouring others. Therefore, its defense lowers the moment it devours. The most important step in a rat bait plan is when the enemy is completely lured and reveals a flaw. Let the rat catcher enter the stage and instantly defeat the opponent. It was also because of He-Lee's power accumulating strike that the corpse mantis spider's heart paralysis completely broke its defense. Then it was time for the final step. I displayed my full strength again, killing the infinitely evolving corpse mantis spider with just one slash, and successfully signed a contract with its soul, becoming my contract beast to fight for me from now on. And the senior who tried every means to put me to death eventually reaped what he sowed and died in the mouth of the magical beast he released himself. It turns out that not long ago, He-Lu completely broke the corpse mantis spider's defense. Then I just needed to finish the job. He-Lu reminded me that her control skill only lasted a few seconds. If the corpse mantis spider activated its skill again, we would become lambs to the slaughter. I told her to just rest well. This time I would never let this damn magical beast slip away. After speaking, I immediately switched to the Cloud Mage class, raising the staff high to release the skill Ice Transformation, freezing the corpse mantis spider into an ice sculpture, unable to move. Seeing this, Healy's eyes were full of shock. She originally thought I was just a talented warrior. She never expected I actually possessed dual classes. I didn't explain this, switching the class again to Core Warrior. The power accumulated from previous injuries and fatigue was now enough for me to release the killing move. In an instant, the killing move Pure Land was released violently. Fatigue and pain turned into a fierce slash swung forward. The sound of the kill notification immediately echoed in my ears. The Cloud Mage level instantly rose to level 22 and obtained the B-rank armor material Mantis Steel. I also instantly recovered to peak condition due to the effect of Pure Land, with injuries and fatigue dissipating. Sure enough, one must kill high-level magical beasts to gain experience. At this moment, He-Lu was dumbfounded. In this world, there are extremely few geniuses who possess dual elements. But someone like me who awakened dual classes at such a young age is simply unheard of. But what completely subdued her was that I now switched my class to Flower Summoner. When a summoner reaches C rank, they can sign contracts with 6 monsters. There are still 4 slots left. So this corpse mantis spider before me was the best possible contract beast. The skill Flower Spirit contract was released immediately. After signing the soul contract, I successfully obtained the Flower Warrior E-rank corpse mantis spider. But I didn't like the name corpse mantis spider. Not only ugly, but also hard to remember. So I renamed it Changzai. With this, the greatest crisis of the field combat training was completely resolved. He-Lu walked to my side and spoke cautiously. Seeing me switch another class just now, it looked like I possessed 3 major attribute classes simultaneously, sign that I really could keep giving people surprises. Hearing this, I smiled calmly, hoping she could keep what happened today a secret for me. He-Lu naturally understood what I meant. Possessing so many classes, but not showing them during the graduation assessment meant I probably didn't want too many people to know. So she promised me that she would keep this secret in her heart and never leak it. Just then, the Saint He Kingdom Divine Guild's East Sector 26th Regiment arrived, asking me and He-Lu about the situation. Then they looked down in surprise to find that the corpse mantis spider had lost its vital signs. and the students who had fainted from inhaling the paralysis powder all regained consciousness after taking the medicine brought by the guild. Cheen looked a bit fearful after waking up, remembering she was almost swallowed by the corpse mantis spider. Teacher Huang comforted her softly, telling her everything was over. Meanwhile, the Divine Guild was praising me and He Lu. A B-rank monster like this might not even be handled by a mature C-rank team. But He Lu and I, who were still students, defeated it, marveling that we were indeed genius students from Jiang country. At this time, the school hunk Li Jun actively walked towards me. The two senior sisters who trained with me thanked me. If not for my heroic performance, everyone would definitely have gone to see their ancestors by now. The arrogant Li Jun also thanked me for saving him, stating that from now on, I am his good brother. On the other side, He Lu was receiving treatment. The ultimate school squad members complained about her acting alone. What if she encountered unavoidable danger? A tall boy spoke up to ease the atmosphere, frankly stating that He Li's strength was no small matter. After all, she is a gold profession holder, a genius who only appears once every few years. There shouldn't be anything she couldn't solve. Hearing this, He Lu smiled beautifully and turned to look at me. She met a true genius today. That was me, who was full of mysteries from head to toe. She couldn't help but wonder what height I would stand at in the future. A moment later, the Divine Guild finished counting the people. Only one student had not returned to the team. They let everyone get on the special train to rest first, leaving the remaining student for the guild to search for. Meanwhile, in the jungle of the wasteland area, new fragments of the shrinking bottle appeared. Ziling dragged his exhausted body and ran frantically, roaring that he was the master who released it. But the magical beast chasing closely behind him paid no heed. Seizing the opportunity, it swallowed Ziling whole and alive. Unaware of this, I was checking Chang's eyes panel, signing that this guy's growth potential was very strong. If cultivated well, it would definitely become an effective combat power for me. After defeating the corpse mantis spider, Flower Summoner, level 21, EXPX 350, but it was still far from B rank. But C rank and above monsters are basically controlled by the god race and the guilds. So I must find a way to get more opportunities to upgrade. When the train passed through this coastal tunnel, it meant we had arrived in the long-lost Saint He Kingdom.